Hello everybody, welcome to the Red Devil Experience. My name is Eric. Hope everybody is doing well. It's the big one that we've all been waiting for over this international break. Liverpool away this Sunday. Manchester United versus Liverpool derby. Our chance to end a 9-year Anfield drought since Rooney's 2016 goal that won us the match there, 1-0. Amorim facing still, obviously, some pressure. There's a little bit of some injury updates that we got to talk about and some other stuff. So we're going to preview the match. We're going to get into a little bit of transfer news as well. But hopefully the squad is ready to fight. Drop your score predictions in the chat. I say if United show up, which we tend to do in big matches against the big teams. If we show up, I think United can do a 2-1 at this current moment in time. If we show up like we've done matches against sort of City and some of the smaller other teams like a Brentford, we will get rolled over and obliterated, yeah? But let's dive into the Derby madness. And we got a poll running as well. United and Anfield. Get involved in the poll. Vote in the poll. Hit win, draw, or loss. What do you think? Drop the score predictions in there. Also, before we do actually get started with the actual show, please make sure you smash the like button. Get that done. Hit the like button. It helps the channel grow. It's a massive help. So take 2 seconds. And it is a big, big help. So thank you for that. When you do smash the like button, we greatly appreciate it. And if you're new and you enjoyed the content, make sure you subscribe. And you hit the notification bell icon, the little bell icon there, so you get the updates for when we go live so you don't miss any part of the show. But other than that, let's just kind of get straight into it. This is the 100th top flight meeting at Anfield between United and Liverpool. United, like I just mentioned, haven't won at Anfield since Wayne Rooney's 2016 header. Amorim still under fire. After sort of a shaky start to this season, carrying over from last season. And a win could silence the critics like Neville and Keane and all the others, yeah. Arne Slot has said a couple things and admits United are a real threat. Those are his words. Despite their form. Peter Crouch has predicted a Liverpool win. Saying that a United upset would be a travesty to Liverpool's title chase. Paul Merson has said that this result could sway the title race with Liverpool's momentum at stake. So, yeah, I mean, there's a lot to get into. Sort of the fact that, I mean, let's just do a little bit of, injury news, what we're looking at in terms of form and stuff like that. Some good statistical little insight into what's going on. So, Liverpool are going to host United this weekend at Anfield. And Arne Slot has now lost 3 on the spin at the hands of Crystal Palace, Galatasaray, and Chelsea. The first time in his career that he has done so, by the way. Liverpool have only lost one of their last 14 meetings with United. So the match presents them a good opportunity to get back in form. Us, on the other hand, are out here trying to build a winning run by upsetting the reigning champions. And they, we beat Sunderland. So we're looking for 2 consecutive wins, which we haven't been able to do. Liverpool looking to bounce back. I think this is going to be probably one of the better derbies. I'm kind of feeling that way right now. There's been we're gonna have to get into Ruben Amorim's comments as well. The press match conference, press match conference. There's a lot that Amorim said in there. We need to get into that. So, where am I carrying on to? Team news. Gravenberch and Ibrahim Konate have both been passed fit in a major boost for Liverpool. Who will remain without Alisson Becker due to a hamstring injury. And Endo apparently should be available as well. Alexis McAllister may struggle to play a prominent role after returning late from international duty, where he scored a brace for Argentina. But the number 9 position for them remains up for grabs as Ekitike and Isaac fight for a starting berth. Neither is in particularly good form, though. Isaac is goalless in his last 5 for club and country, while Ekitike has scored 1 in the same period of time. So, strikers struggling, which is a good sign for us, but they obviously still have Salah and many other players. and Salah has more goal involvements against United than any other player in Premier League history. He loves to score against us. I hate that he loves to score against us. I wish it was the opposite, but hopefully we do a good job and we shut him down. It's going to be tough, but I think if you can quiet Mohamed Salah, I think we have a very good chance to beat them because he is their guy. Yeah, he is the main guy. The strikers are struggling to score. And I think if you can shut down Mohamed Salah and keep him quiet for as long as possible, as much as possible, I think you negate a lot of their goal scoring chances. So, but for us, Lisandro Martinez is not going to be available for this game. We talked about it a little bit a couple days ago on the last show. He is very, very close to returning. He should be returning to full team practice probably, I would say, next week. And then maybe he'll be on the bench for Brighton. But he's going to be limited minutes. His comeback is going to be quite slow. Yeah, like I don't think anybody should be expecting him to start. I think the amount of minutes he's going to get is going to be quite limited. Probably no more than 10 to 15 minutes. And it's going to take a little bit to build him back up. Yeah, he's been out for a really long time. And we don't want him to go back out. We want him to be back fully, or full-time, 100%. So we're going to need a little bit of patience on that front. I also keep predicting that, listen, I expect him to be very rusty. I expect him to, when he does come back, I expect him to, kind of look very off the pace. He might be in a match. He might get skinned a couple times. He might, make a couple mistakes. He's definitely not going to be as sharp as I think we all remember him being when he was in form and he was playing. So we're going to have to be patient on that front. The guy's been out for a while. It's probably going to take him a little bit to get back to the full Lisandro Martinez, and hopefully he stays injury-free as well. But continuing on sort of the Liverpool match optics, Mazuari remains a doubt, along with Aiden Heaven. So Casemiro and Cunha are both being assessed after their international exploits with Brazil, with Manuel Ugarte potentially coming into midfield. But there's nothing wrong with Cass or Cunha. They will be part of the matchday squad. They will be there. Cass might start, but I don't know. With that lack of speed, maybe he goes with Ugarte. But I think maybe Ugarte, I like Ugarte. I think he could get a job. He needs to be on his game. But I don't know, maybe Cass is a little bit, he's got a bit more experience. Maybe he's a bit more physical. So I guess it depends what Ruben, wants for this game, in terms of how he's going to line up against the opposition. Bruno Fernandes and Diallo were also given an extra day of training off at Carrington on Thursday, but we'll be ready for Anfield. Let me get into some of the statistics here real quick, and shout out to the chat if anybody's here in the chat. I will come to you in a second. Get your thoughts, opinions. Give me your predictions, score predictions. Maybe some predicted lineups if you want to type them in there as well. It is Football Friday, so we're going to talk about this for a little bit. We're going to do a little bit of United news, and then we can just talk about whatever football stuff in general. It doesn't have to be United focused or anything like that. We could talk about some other aspects, but yeah, let me get this up for me, and I will tell you exactly what we're looking at here. So team streaks for United and for Liverpool. This is individually team streaks. This is not playing against each other. This is just the current form or so for both teams individually. Liverpool have lost 3. And Liverpool have not kept a clean sheet in 6. Those two are very good for us, Manchester United fans. For both of our clubs, 5 out of the last 6 matches that we played, there have been at least 3 goals between both teams. So, we should have opportunities to score. We should be getting the ball into the net based off of just this. I mean, Liverpool haven't kept a clean sheet in 6. They've lost 3, and there's at least 3 goals per game, 5 out of the 6 matches that they've played. Same goes for us, though, in terms of, we have also been sort of conceding in our matches as well. So I expect both teams to score goals. And that goes hand in hand. Both teams scoring For Liverpool matches, 5 out of 6. Both teams scoring for matches that United have played, 5 out of the last 7. And then head-to-head wise, Liverpool have not lost to us in 3 matches. But we haven't won at Anfield for about 9 years. Yeah, so the last time, if we did beat them, it was, at our home. United have not been able to keep a clean sheet against Liverpool in the last 4 matches. And then 9 out of the 10 last times that we've played Liverpool, there has been at least 3 goals in the match between us. And the last 10 matches head-to-head, Liverpool have won 4. There's been 3 draws, and United have won 3. Liverpool are the heavy favorites. Manchester United have a very, very I believe they're telling us that we have a 12% chance to win. Yeah, so we are the heavy underdogs of this match, and Lyle is here, and so is Lumen. How you guys doing? Lyle says, wifey Sherry sends a shout out to you, Eric, and the channel. Well, tell Sherry we say hello and thank you very much for the shout out, and hope she's doing good, and that everything is all right. And we're getting ready for the big match, man. We're getting ready for the big match. I'm excited now. The international football is over. I didn't watch a single game. I don't know if that makes me a bad football fan or not. But I don't know. I'm just not interested. Couldn't be asked. And so I didn't. And you know what? I don't even feel bad about it, really. I kind of feel quite relieved. I was able to do some other things, get some other things done. But I'm excited for this match. I don't know. I was feeling quite pessimistic. Before we went on the international break, in terms of, I was like, we're screwed because this gives a chance for Liverpool to kind of recoup, get their, sort out some things. They have a good 2 weeks. I also kind of feel like it kind of stops maybe the bad momentum. I mean, they were on a bad momentum. They lost 3 matches in a row. If you had to go into a game as quickly as the following week, it could more easily carry over than if you kind of stop for 2 weeks, go away, come back, and it's kind of a reset. Maybe the players cleared their head a little bit. And then for us on the flip side, it's like, well, we've been very inconsistent. We struggled to get to, on the bounce, 2 consecutive wins. And we got a good win at home. We needed the 3 points, and you would like to try and build on that as quickly as possible. And then I feel like for us, the momentum stopped us, and it could have sort of the same effect that I just mentioned for Liverpool, but it's kind of backwards. We stopped, we go away, we sort of lost that feeling of the last match because it's been 2 weeks. We come back, it's kind of like we have to start again. And obviously Liverpool, they have a better structured project than us, and they've been more stable than us, so I feel like it plays better into their hand than it does to our hand. But I mean, we will see exactly, how that sort of translates there. But yeah, I mean, we will see. I mean, one thing that, Gary Neville has warned that United must avoid humiliation, and Roy Keane says Liverpool's intensity could expose United's lack of leadership. I think they are right. It's that Gary Neville saying we must avoid humiliation. I know what he means, but the way it reads sounds bad. Yeah, but I know what he's talking about because we've talked about it before. United can't. I mean, usually we turn up for these big matches. Yeah, I mean, every once in a while we don't, and we get absolutely steamrolled. But usually we play to the top of our, peak performance when we play in a match like this against the Liverpool, against an Arsenal, against the Chelsea. These games we really go out and show out. And then actually these are the games that kind of piss us off more because the team shows the intensity, they show the effort, they show the ability, they show the mentality, they show the determination in these matches, and we get pissed off because they don't do it consistently across the span of a season, especially when you end up go and play, I don't know, like a Brighton or a Villa or a Brentford or something. The levels seem to drop, and that's the one thing that pisses me off. Amorim's had some quotes about this as well, and he's said that. So I'm gonna jump into that real quick because he's had some things to say. And when I read these things or when I listen to him speak, it kind of tears, it kind of splits me in that, like, when I listen to him, I'm like, he understands the situation, though. He understands this football club. He understands, like, he gets it. It's not like he's out of touch. It's not like he's clueless. It's not like he's, he kind of says a lot of the things and thinks the same things that basically the majority of the fans say and think. The problem that he's having is that the results on the pitch are not translating in his favor. But when you listen to him speak, when you listen to him give his thoughts and opinions, I mean, he's pretty much on point with the fans for like 90% of the time. So, Amorim was asked, he did the presser, he was asked about the availability for the match against Liverpool. He said Leach is near, almost returning to training with the team. So he won't be involved, but he should be back in the next week or two. We should be seeing him somewhere on the bench. He said Mazawari, I don't know. And he said the other guys returning from national teams are ready to play. So he didn't really say anything about Aiden Heaven. I don't know if he lumped Aiden Heaven into the other guys returning from national teams are ready to play or not. Or maybe he just forgot to mention him. Maz is still a doubt. So if Maz is a doubt, I mean, maybe at the very least, he'd be on the bench. I don't expect him to start if, they're unsure about him. I would expect Amad Diallo to be starting at right wing back. At left wing back, I think it's a toss-up between Delo and Dorgu. I think he might go with Delo. I feel like he's going to go with Delo. But I don't know 100%. So, yeah. But Amorim was asked about the board backing him, and he said, Sir Jim tells me all the time, sometimes with the message, the most important thing is the next game. He said, it's really good to hear the support also because of the noise. And then he was asked about the vision for the football club, and he said, first of all, I can feel it. I feel the support every day. The pressure I put on myself is often bigger. It is really good to hear that, and it helps our fans understand that the leadership knows it will take time. It is good to feel the support, but focus is on the next game. He was also asked about previous Liverpool matches, and he said, I remember we played well. I was really upset afterwards because we proved we could compete against any opponent. I know what it means to the fans. It is just one game where we need to prove we are doing better. See, but this is the thing, like, when he says something like that, it hurts a bit to kind of to turn against him, because what he's saying is true, and what he's saying is what the fans say. I mean, our fan base complains about the fact that, we tend to play very well in the big matches, and then it's like the next match when we go to play a smaller team, the levels drop and we get a shit performance or a shit result. And he's pointing it out and he's calling it out, and he's pretty much letting us know, like, hey, I see it too. You guys are right. There is a problem going on here, and it's a little bit. It's not really about ability wise football. It's mentality wise, and he's been kind of telling us that there is a mentality problem here. Now, many people will say, but you're the manager and it's your job to fix the mentality. And to a certain degree, sure. But, I mean, if United have been having mentality issues for different squad iterations over the past 12 years, it's going to take some time to fix that. I mean, it's kind of been almost ingrained into our recent DNA. If, you know, you're talking about at least 10 plus years. I feel like to kind of remove that, it is going to take a longer time than probably we would like, and probably, you know, maybe you would normally expect, because it's been going on for so long. You know, if that happens and it's about maybe year one or year two of it, maybe you can, you know, reverse it quite quickly. But if it's been going on for so many years now, it kind of just feels like, you know, a dark rain cloud that just sits over Old Trafford all the time, and it just doesn't stop raining. And you need to do something about it to not get rained on. But yeah. What's the chat saying? Oh, hold on. Messed up. Move this. Chad's here. Says Everton play well against Liverpool. Axe is here as well. Says he's cooking. I am cooking toasty sandwiches. Let me cook. Axe says he is only good at interviews. His team has to prove him on the pitch consistently. Again, I don't necessarily... I still feel like our team... a problem with our team is we're still obviously in a transition, and our team has sort of been playing counterattack for quite some time through all the managers, and I just feel like it's probably a big change. It's gonna take longer. There's a lot of inconsistencies. I don't feel like a lot of... I mean, there's been some matches that he's made some fuck-ups, yeah, and he's gotten things wrong. But I don't feel like a lot of the matches... Again, I think the players are right, and I think the players kind of need to step up. And it's kind of like what they've been doing, and they've been saying that it's really more on them, and it's their responsibility, and they need to fix things. Because there's a lot of times on the pitch that, you know, these are grown professional players, and they're not doing things that is expected of Premier League players. You play in the Premier League. There are things that should be getting done that don't get done. That, you know, they're not babies. The manager doesn't need to hold their hand through these things. And I'm sure, because I'm sure they go over it in training. I'm sure that they do it. It doesn't translate to the pitch, which is an issue. Axe says everything regressed under Amorim. Well, that's what happens when you make the change you make. It is not going to be a smooth transition. So I don't know if it necessarily... I wouldn't say everything has regressed, because there has been some areas that have improved. I think other areas are struggling or lacking growth in them, and might be quite stagnant in terms of maybe like points, position wise. Maybe it's regressed there. But I mean, again, last season was a bit of a weird one. I think this season should be a better, clearer indication of what it really is. And I think for right now, again, we talked about it last time, it's not the greatest start so far with the amount of games we played, but it's also not the worst start. We're kind of right in the middle, and we've also had the hardest opening fixtures out of everybody in the league. So considering that and where we are and kind of how we are split, it's not the worst thing in the world. It can go either way. It can get better or it can get worse from here. So we got to see, you know, where the journey sort of takes us on that. But yeah, I mean, I lost my place here. Oh, okay. So, and I did lose my place here. Oh, okay. So yeah. Axe says, look, if we lose badly, like 3-0 or worse, it has to be the last bullet. It's not gonna happen, Axe. It has to be the last kick in the balls. He has to go. We had this baboonery for far too long. Play like Man United and win or leave. It's not gonna happen, Axe. No, it's not gonna happen. I mean, that's your opinion, that's your standpoint, that's fine. You know, you're allowed to have that opinion, but I'm just saying, in sort of a reality terms, he won't get sacked if we lose 3-0. Again, the way Amorim loses his job is all the other matches. against the non-top six and what kind of results he's getting, because that's pretty much the brunt of the rest of the season. Yeah. So if you're not winning those matches and you can't get results against the top six teams, you're going to be very low in points and wins, and you're going to get sacked. But yeah, I mean, I will say this though. The narrative will be a different type of way depending on what happens. Because if we go out there and we fight and we play for 90 minutes and we give all our effort and we don't get rolled over, but we lose the match, we're going to be disappointed that we didn't win. But there's a way to losing that's acceptable, compared to, you know, basically getting absolutely flattened and embarrassed and played off the park. So, you know, if we go out there and, I mean, we're an absolute disaster and we lose 3-0, I mean, he's not going to get sacked from it, but it's not going to do him any good, yeah? It's going to make the situation a lot worse. If we go out there and we fight, we put out a good performance, we're hard fought, we battled to the last minute, we give everything we have, and maybe it's just not enough on the day. Maybe we lose 1-0, maybe we lose like a 2-1 or something. The game's close. You know, we put in a lot of effort. We had some chances. Maybe we didn't take it. It'd be a bit different, yeah? Because, well, I don't think really anybody is sort of expecting us to win. I think people want us to win. I think people are backing us or rooting for us to win. But again, I think if you gave most people $1 million and told them put it on the team that you think is going to win money, I think they would put it on Liverpool, the majority of people. So, you know, we will see. We will see how this goes. I'm kind of feeling a bit different now. I think that if they show up, I think we can get a win in this match. It's one of those that I kind of, you know, I guess you could kind of look at it both ways. We haven't won at Liverpool. We haven't won at Anfield in 9 years. How long can that continue? I feel like you would say the probability / percentage for that to continue has to, the more it goes up, the lower it has to be. The longer it continues, the lower the probability has for it to continue. At some point, it has to break, yeah. And I mean, it's a big test for the squad. It's a big test for Amorim, because let's do the flip side. Let's say we win this match. If we win this match, I mean, it's going to be huge for us, for Ruben, for the squad. Who knows what comes out of it? Maybe we actually get momentum after that. And the narrative, certainly for the manager, I mean, it's going to buy him a lot of points on it. And definitely give him at least a couple weeks, a couple games, you know, a bit less pressurized and a bit more, I guess, relaxed to a certain degree. So, you know, it's a big match for him, for us, obviously our club, but, you know, there's a lot sort of on the line, because even Liverpool, if they lose and we beat them, I mean, that'd be 4 on the bounce for them, and they're going to drop 3 points. They're home. It could affect the title race in a big way. Arsenal are at the top of the league, and they're rooting for us. So, yeah, what's his name? Axe, the referee. I already talked about him the other day. It's a bit of a problem. Michael Oliver, yeah. Is he actually a Liverpool fan? I don't think he's a Liverpool fan, but he's definitely in Manchester City's pocket, because every time he refs their matches, he doesn't even so much as so give him a yellow card, let alone a red or a pen against them. They're always favorable for him. I think he is favorable towards Liverpool as well. The two he seems to have the most hate for is United and Arsenal as well. So, Chad said to see you guys in Jan. Can't keep going in circles. I don't know what that means. Who's going in? What are we going in circles about? But all right, we'll see you in January. Which I don't know what difference January is really going to do, but we'll be here. We'll be here every week. But anyway, I'm going to go back to what Ruben was saying in his press match conference. So Amorim was asked on results against big clubs. He said, maybe the expectations when you are expected to win, it causes difficulty. We need to have more confidence to play the game. And I think that's really where our club has been struggling. Again, I don't think it's not Ruben Amorim specific. And this is my problem that I have with being sort of a manager out. Because it's just doesn't seem to matter which manager we have, what type of manager we have. We constantly always have this problem. Why? You know, I don't... You remove the manager. I don't think the manager is the one that created this situation. So it's not like if you sack the manager, this problem's going to get solved. Because it's not his doing. It's the football club has been like this for years. For 10 years, it's been like this. And he's absolutely right. And this is what I'm saying. Like, he's saying and he's seeing what we're saying and what we're seeing. So on that case, we are on the same page. But there's people like that. There's people like Axe who are very defiant on their terms, and I understand. You got to keep a level of standards, yeah. But you also have to mix it into reality. We are not anywhere with any manager right now, with this squad, with the way our club has been for the past 12 years, we are nowhere near play like Man United and win or leave. We're nowhere near that. We're nowhere near that. That used to be what we were 14 years ago. We're not, that was 14 years ago. We can't do that anymore. We're not there. We need to build towards that again. We need to remember what that was and get there again, but we are not there right now. So for me, it's hard to put that sort of expectation on the squad. But you are, because you are on the same page, because the club, the players, we have a mentality problem. We have a leadership problem. Yeah, you would agree with that. Now, you blame it all on him. It's his responsibility to sort that out. But what I'm saying is that was there before he got there. It was before Ten Hag got there. So it keeps going through different managers. So I don't truly believe that a manager is going to walk in and fix it until the club fix it. Working with a manager. I don't think there is a sole manager that's going to walk in there and change this dynamic, because the football club has done it to themselves over the past 12 years. So I can't put it on him to necessarily fix it. Again, I don't see the things that we're in. I don't see it as normal circumstances. We're not in normal circumstances. This isn't a club that, you know, in the last 1 or 2 seasons, we've sort of lost our way and things have gone downhill since we gotten the one manager in. We've been lost for 12 years. We haven't been doing the things that we've been doing. And over time, we've been getting worse through different iterations of managers. At one point, we used to, you know, be finishing in the top 4, not winning. Then we started doing top 6. Now we're outside of the top 6. And this is going from one manager to the next manager to the next manager to the next manager. Is the football club. It is the football club. So I can't really put, I get what you mean, and I understand, and I don't even necessarily disagree, but I have to sort of separate it for this situation. It's not like, you know, like if you look at Brighton, they get like a manager, and I understand they're a small club, but I'm just using them as an example. They get a manager and they don't perform to maybe what they were doing with the previous manager they had. it's only a one. It's only like a 1 year, 2 year sort of, issues. They get rid of that manager, they get a new manager. You can undo what just recently happened. But how do you get a guy that undoes 10 years of damages in 2 seasons or a season and a half? And then I think you have to add on the fact that, again, with him, it is quite different in terms of that. If we bring in another manager that played a 4-2-3-1 and was playing just regular counter attack, we wouldn't have to go through such a big sort of transition and change. And I think, that adds to it as well. So there's a lot of things that are compounding right now. I find it very hard. PSG playing Chelsea light. (3-1) they are. I didn't even know. Why is Strasbourg Chelsea light? What are they doing? Buying a bunch? Max says I'm blaming all on the Glazers, but sacking Amorim is one of the first main steps that have to be done. Well, again, I mean, it's not going to happen for now. It's not going to happen for now. It's too early, and there's a lot of football left to be done. And I mean, Ineos want to try and give him 3 years. And I do think that, if he earns to stay, I would like to see what happens in 3 years, but he has to earn it. And I mean, he agrees with that as well. And this is what I'm saying. So, I mean, there is a quote here that I will get to where he is asked about that, and he does state that. So, Amorim was asked about Lemons, said nothing is impossible. You have to prove you can start every week. It is possible he can play. He is not Schmeichel yet. He is a young guy with talent, and the fans liked it. And he was asked about Liverpool versus United. He says, sometimes things change really fast, but when you see the history of both clubs, you can see one club can have bad runs. We can win any game. If we think about winning the next game, we can win the game. If we are to be the same level as Liverpool in the future, I am not sure how long it will take. He was asked about the comments that Ratcliffe made about the academy. He said, I think the academy can always improve. I am not the best guy. I have been here a year, but I am not going to say the academy is not good because the results haven't been great. We have to see the conditions in the academy to see if they are doing a great job. If you look at our club, we are trying to improve the academy. There was a quote somewhere about I don't know where it went. Same owners, Blue Co owns Chelsea and Strasbourg. Did they really? Oh my. Interesting. All right. Let's cover some other news. Yeah. Real quick. Because there is some updates about players, squads, and stuff like that. I am looking for, I don't know where it went, but it was here somewhere. I mean, Bruno Fernandes has a couple quotes as well. Bruno was asked about his deeper role. He said, I can serve the players in front of me, maybe not with a decisive pass, but by finding balls between the lines to allow them to create something. It's very important to have someone behind who can make that connection. When I was playing as a number 10, I had Matic and Paul Pogba, who were excellent at this. I progressed a lot thanks to them because the ball came from their distribution. Casemiro is very strong at breaking the lines with one touch. We know Manu is a player who tends to hunt the ball and recover it, and Kobe is a player capable of breaking lines with the ball at his feet, with the power he has and his ability to get out of tight spaces. Bruno also went on to say, any manager who comes here is one match away from a crisis. This club is always like that. If you win a match, it feels like you're going to win the league. If you lose a match, it feels like a storm is hitting the club. In this club, every manager will be under pressure if they get bad results, and our manager is no exception, but he is very well prepared for it, and he knows what a huge challenge it is. So yeah, there's that. Arnie Slot had to say, I'm looking forward to the match against United even more because I know how special it is. It's the most watched match in the world. United have started the season better than the standings show, so it will be a very interesting match. Yeah, and again, I think having the toughest opening and being where we are, I think we've done all right, considering coming off of what we came off of last season. Now I think after this going forward, especially with a lot of the other matches coming up after this one, I think it's going to be the clearest indication of really how it's really going to look by the time we sort of get nearer, you know, to January. Amorim is so good he's good at pressers because he understands everything. He understands everything. And I think he's quite right at a lot of things, Lyle. I think he is. He's benching our current best academy graduate. Again, I don't earn the spot. Earn the spot. Maybe he can't earn the spot, but earn the spot. Earn it. Earn it. Earn it. I want to see, for me, he's getting substitute appearances, yeah? And this is where I disagree with a lot of the people. Because Kobe Mainoo is a fan favorite, and everybody wants Kobe Mainoo to start. And I would probably pick Kobe Mainoo to start if I was in charge. But at the same time, I would say, what I would want to see is he has to prove Amorim wrong. So when he gets substituted on, he needs to make an impact in the game. So that it's like, see, you're wrong, Ruben. You're wrong. The kid should be starting. He's having an actual impact in the game. We are playing better when he comes on the pitch. He's making things happen. Until he does that, I don't think he has the right to start over who else is starting. I think he needs to earn the right to start. And I think the way you earn your right to start is you make an impact on the pitch. He's been chosen that position, so you need to climb out of that position. And the way you climb out of that position is making something happen on the pitch with the time that you're given. This is football. This is a man's sport. These are not children. We're not playing Sunday League. We don't have parents coming to the manager telling him, why is my son not playing? You know. Johnny Hill says, when we aren't the favorites, we perform better. Under this guy's regime, he's made every other team the favorite. Well, no. I mean, when we're home and we're playing against, let's put it this way. When you play Liverpool away from Anfield, you're not going to be the favorite, even if we're really, really good. We still won't be the favorite unless Liverpool are really, really bad. When you play Arsenal and we're away from home and we're playing at the Emirates, we're not the favorites. Yeah? When we play Brighton and we're home at Old Trafford, we are expected to win. We are the favorites for that match. When we play Villa and we are home, we are the favorites. We're expected to win that match. So that's what he means. And actually what he's saying is 100% true, because every time we go into a match, and it's not just Ruben Amorim, it happened under Ten Hag, and it happened under Ali as well, and it happened under the other managers as well. Every time we go into a match where we are expected to win and we are the favorites, we bottle it. We don't do what we are supposed to do. We don't hit the heights of levels that we are supposed to in the match. But when we go to a match and we play against an Arsenal or a Liverpool or a Chelsea and we are deemed the underdogs, we usually tend to go out there and actually put in probably one of our best performances of that season or in quite a long time. So he's actually 100% correct. It is a big problem that this football club has had for quite some time. 100%. And no manager has sorted it. No manager has fixed it yet. No manager has found the solution to it. So, again, those are one of those things that you can say, well, he's the manager, he's got to fix it, sack him, and get somebody else in that will. And I will tell you that I don't believe that if you get another manager, they will be able to fix it in the time that you would like them to fix it. Because everybody wants it done very, very quick. And I don't think that can happen at this point in our club. I think for us to fix these issues that we have, it's going to take quite a bit of time. It's going to take a few years. And we need to kind of stick with somebody to get through that process so we can stop restarting over and over and over again. And the way that happens is I would like this manager to get good results so we don't have to sack him, so we can continue with progress and we can actually have a steady sort of structure and continue and not restart over again from point one, because like that, we're never going to have any stability and we're never going to make any real progress. So we need to figure out what's happening. So to be honest, though, by that logic, Bruno and Delo, etc., should be benched every week as they have been trashed pretty much every week. Well, so the problem with Bruno is that he's the captain, yeah? And again, this is an issue that I still say. I don't agree with one player practically being God. And when I mean by God, I mean that they can't be dropped, they can't be substituted, they can't be, whatever. And he is a problem in that sense. It's not Bruno's fault. Bruno doesn't make that decision. But, I mean, that was a thing that Ten Hag did as well. It's not just Ruben. And that was a thing that Ali did as well. I don't like that aspect. I don't think it's a good aspect to have in the squad. I don't think there should be any player that's deemed as pretty much a god, that they are untouchable. I think it destroys kind of the squad dynamic. Listen, Bruno, for what's happening, Bruno's not going to get dropped and he's not going to get benched. But what I would say is, I mean, if he's having an absolute stinker, like he did a couple matches ago, which was one of his worst performances so far, he should not be staying in the match for 90 minutes. He should be getting subbed out in a match like that. But when the player is made your captain, I mean, you expect him to start, you expect him to play a lot. That's why they are the captain. They are considered probably the best player or one of the best players on your team. They're supposed to play a lot. And unless they, do things that they're not really supposed to do, most likely they're going to play. So he is an issue. The Delo thing, again, I don't even know if necessarily Delo might start. Maybe he will. I think Ahmad should be a right wing back, and then I think you have a selection over left wing back over Dorgu and Delo. But when you look at it, I mean, we don't really have too many options. I mean, has Delo been playing good? No. But has Dorgu been doing really any better? Not really. Not really. You can argue all day over semantics over which one's been worse. Most people would probably say Delo. But for me, Ahmad is better than both of them, and he's been doing better than both of them. So there's no reason why Ahmad doesn't have that right wing back spot. And then the left-hand side, I mean, it's just Dorgu. And if Dorgu ain't doing good, then you have Delo. And that's pretty much it. Unless Maz is fit, which he isn't really. And I don't accept Luke Shaw as a left wing back anymore. I don't think he could play there. And I don't think we're going to see him play there. So there's a bit of limitations there as well. Now, the thing is, when you compare Delo Dorgu, I mean, Delo is older. He's a bit more experienced. He's been playing the Premier League a lot more. So maybe the manager chooses to go with him for those reasons, not necessarily, form or whatever. It depends what he's looking for during the match and stuff like that. So Johnny says, well, that's a bit different to what I'm saying, though, bro. Whether we should be favorites or not is not my overall question. It's more that going into games, I can never predict us to be the favorite. Yes, because... But my question to you, Johnny, is how is this any different to what we were going through under Ten Hag, barring his first season? What is the difference between right now in that aspect than what we were going through with Ali after his second, third season? It's pretty much the same. So again, this is why I can't per se blame him fully, because I've seen this before. We've been here before with 2-3 different managers, with 2-3 different iterations of players as a squad. So I have sort of an issue just throwing it all on the manager, telling you have a nice day, or all our problems are going to be solved when we sack him. That's just me. I have a problem with throwing it all on the manager, because I think our football club is a mess. And there's a lot of a mess that's been happening from above the manager. And I don't want to take all the mess that they've made and throw it onto the manager, because we've been doing that for a long time. And it doesn't fix anything. It doesn't solve anything. Every time we say sack this guy and things will get better, they haven't actually really gotten better, have they? In fact, I think every time we keep sacking a manager and then we get a new one, we've actually downtrended and gotten worse over time. So... there's not really any proof, or I wouldn't say proof, but there's no real guarantee that you sack Ruben and the issues that we're facing are going to be solved, or that they don't get worse. My thing solely is, for him, it's very plain and simple. It's very basic, very black and white. Just get the results to be good enough. It's a numbers game for me. You have to have a certain amount of points. You have to be in a certain position of the table after a certain amount of games, and you get to keep your job and keep going. If not, then you gotta go. And we could look at last season and couple it with this season. We could look at the 28% win ratio. I understand that's very bad, but I'm in the middle of this season. This season is 7 matches in, or 8 matches in, or about to be 8 matches in. We're in sort of the middle, and it could go either way. So I'm just going to keep going from week to week to week, and we're going to see where we are. And that's about it. Steph's here. Shout out, Steph. Big up yourself, Steph. How you doing? Yeah, the usernames are back. I don't know how you fix that, so we see your name, Max. Anyway, so let me bring up some other stuff as well. And just on that point, Johnny, I mean, you can't really predict us to be the favorite. I mean, I get that. I can't either, because that's just our squad. But again, I really can't put so much of the onus on the manager. I will give him some blame, and I do accept that at the end of the day, at some point, it is his responsibility to eventually fix these problems. Yeah, but I feel like the manner in which it's spoken is that he created this situation, and I would fight that till the very end. I don't think he did create this situation, because I think our club has been in this situation for many years with different managers. We have had the same problem over and over and over again. So I find it hard to put it on Ruben. I can't really do that. Now, ultimately, at some point, for him to really succeed and for progress to be made, he does have to find an answer to it. I don't know if he will be able to. I don't know if he can, because I believe him by himself, he can't. I think he needs the board and the hierarchy, Ineos, Sir Jim, and Barada to help him out with that front. I think it needs to be a club effort on all fronts. But yeah, I think certainly, you know, he's got to figure it out at some point. But he calls it out. I mean, it's not like he's shying away from it. He tells us almost every week, there's an issue with the mentality. There is an issue with the mentality. There's been an issue with the mentality. I don't know for how long this fan base has been complaining about the mentality of the players and how many managers we've gone through talking about the mentality of the players. Really, probably, I could, I don't really remember too much of anything with Van Gaal. Although, I mean, the way they played didn't seem like they had a good mentality under Van Gaal either. But I could remember as far as Mourinho, it was problems with the mentality and how they carried themselves and how the players act. And it's been carrying on from then to now. And how long has that been? 9 years? 8? Something like that? So we've had this problem at our football club for at least minimum 8 years, yeah? I don't see how one guy comes in and fixes that in a year. With the Glazers still here, and Ineos being Ineos, and we don't know, what they're doing behind the scenes to try and fix that, if they're doing anything. So I'm tired of him talking the talk instead of walking a walk. Just leave, be respectful, and leave for free. He's not going to leave. And talking the talk, he's 100% right in everything that he says, pretty much, almost, to a certain extent. He barely ever says what the fan base is not already saying. He says exactly what we say. He sees exactly what we see. He demands exactly what we demand. So the issue, again, then, is it's not really the manager, yeah? Because it's not like he doesn't. It's not like he's missing it. It's not like he's not seeing it, and therefore he's not addressing it because he doesn't know it's an issue. He knows it's there. He sees the problems. He's pointing them out. My onus then goes to these professional so-called players that get paid hundreds of thousands a week, that, again, they are not babies, they are not children, they are professionals that play in the Premier League. They are Premier League level players, and they need to do their part to step up. If you can't do a 5-yard pass on the pitch, I don't give a shit what manager is in charge. I don't care if you grab a 14-year-old kid and put him as the manager. You should be able to make a 5-yard pass consistently in every single match that you play in the Premier League. If you can't do that, I don't blame the manager for that. I blame the players. If you're not in shape, per se, I mean, you have a personal responsibility to stay fit. It is your profession. It is your job. The club has a responsibility as well to set you up with programs, but you got to follow the programs as well. Some of our players, and again, because they're not confident, we need to play more forward. We need to play with more confidence. They need to find the confidence. They need to take the risks on the pitch. They need to sort out their heads mentally. Yeah? They need to not be afraid. But they're always too afraid. So maybe we just don't have the right group of players that have a strong mentality. We don't have enough of them. Because maybe the pressure does get to them, and maybe they just can't. Maybe they just can't be unfazed by the pressure of this football club. And until we get players that can be unfazed, coupled with the manager guiding them through that, And maybe, just maybe, our football club won't be able to do anything regardless of whatever manager we have. I don't know. I'm just spitballing because I don't have the answers, all of them. I don't. I don't think anybody really has the answers because I think we've done almost everything. And we constantly either have the same problems or we have new problems. So, Lyle says LVG was his own downfall, much like Moyes. They had the weirdest tactics, the mentality problem, and player FC started from Mourinho. Yeah, I mean, well, Moyes was always set up to fail. Yeah, whoever followed Fergie was always, it was always too soon. Yeah, and everything was going to be compared to Fergie, and it was never going to be anything like Fergie. So you were always going to get, the double-edged sword on that one. And yeah, I mean, LVG, I mean, his tactics were quite shit. Yeah. In terms of playing sideways. But this is where that started from. This is what I'm trying to say, Lyle. That, like, when we see it, it really started from there. Because LVG played sideways. Mourinho played defensive and sideways a lot as well. Ollie did it to a certain extent. So, you know, and even Moyes to a certain extent, even though it was like, you know, it was only like 8 months, it started there. So from that point, and we never changed it, we kept trying to go with it, and we just kept playing it. That sort of play style is ingrained into our football club. In recent history, this is what we know how to do for the past 10 years or so. That's what sort of has become the identity of this football club. We don't want it to be that identity. We want a different identity. Okay, well, to get a different identity, you're going to have to create something or go in a different direction that's going to cause you a lot of pain. It's going to cause a lot of turbulence. It's going to be rocky. It's going to be painful to get through because you're making changes. And when you make changes, it's never smooth. It never goes super well. It never goes the way you plan. There's always problems. There's always issues. There's always bumps in the road. And when I look at it, if you're telling me, well, we've been one way for 10 years, well, I would ask you, how long does it take to then sort of go and be in a different lane? Because for me, when I think of 10 years we've been one way and we want to be a different way, I can't say that it wouldn't take less than 3 to 4 years for me personally. I think it would take I think to undo 10 years worth of stuff, you need at least a consistent 3 to 4 years to really, you know, kind of put the past in the background and be in a different place. And this is why I kind of get a bit annoyed because when people like Axe say things, I understand what he's saying and I don't disagree with the standards that he holds. But at the same time, we're not anywhere near to doing what he's asking for. And I feel like to ask for it now is just, you're basically asking anybody that comes into the job to fail and to get sacked because it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen in a year. It's not going to happen in 2 years. It's just not, no matter who you get. Now, some things could be better than others, but for it to be where you want it to be, the pinnacle, the height, when you make a statement like win or leave, there's no manager out there that's going to survive that, if that's what you're holding, you know. Again, I think that's something that we should 100% be building towards. I think it's something that we should never really let go and forget. We need to keep it there at the football club. We need to remember what that was. But I think a lot of people need to kind of relax a little bit to a certain extent. And you have to accept where we are now and that we need to make progress from where we are. And we got to go up step by step. Elias says, I do feel, though, that we are a window or two from having a decent squad that wants to play for the badge. Actually, come to think of it, you're right, from LVG for sure. Gosh, I forgot the sideways playing and passing back to De Gea. There was one match Fellaini was just outside the box, turned around and punted it back to De Gea. No, and this is what I'm saying. Like, I think we get a bit lost, and the conversation kind of it does annoy me a bit because I don't disagree with the fans having the traditional United standards of that we are winners, we are expected to perform, we are expected to win every match, we are not expected to accept anything less than basically, challenging and being champions and greatness. And I get that. And again, I think we shouldn't forget those things. We shouldn't abandon those things ever. But when it comes to the perspective of our club, there are still many United fans out there. And I don't know when they started, following the club or whatever it is, or when they really got into football. Maybe some of them were very young. Maybe some of them were 3-4 years old when it was Fergie's last year. They don't really have too much recollection, or I don't know what it is. But some people just act like, some people act like our football club, maybe we've strayed only 3 years from the last time we won a Premier League, or that we actually challenged quite deeply in the Champions League. Yeah, the way they speak about us is like we haven't been astray for 10 plus years. They speak on this football club like we will go back to being champions within a year or two. And it's just not plausible at all. Like, it's totally not even close to being anything realistic. There is not one manager in this world right now that will come to this football club and make us challenge for the title in 2 years. There is not one manager. PSG with the equalizer 3-3. Are they the only ones playing? Nicky Butts had some comments as well. Bruno has more things to say. Bruno was asked if Sir Jim Ratcliffe shares the player's opinion, namely that the manager is the right person for this role. Oh no, hold on, I'm sorry. Bruno Fernandes said if Sir Jim Ratcliffe shares the player's opinion, namely that the manager is the right person for this role, then it's a good thing to have two groups of people who share the same view. I mean, I don't know, what is he supposed to say? Other than that, really, realistically. So, there's Bundesliga as well, Lyle. Can you keep us up to date on that? I will speak on the Liverpool match a little bit more, though. And I will say this. I will say that we do need to sort of, we do need to kill the atmosphere. Yeah? And I think we do need to take our chances. I think for us, the best possible thing, I think it's a very big plus for us that Liverpool have not been able to keep a clean sheet. And that traditionally, when we do play each other, both teams score between us. But they haven't been able to keep a clean sheet. And that's a big positive for us. They don't have a streak of necessarily scoring first, and we don't have a streak of necessarily scoring first, but the first goal is going to be absolutely massive, and I don't know how I want this to play out, because I have two ways in mind. One of them is that United score first, but I feel like if we score first, we're gonna try to the pressure is gonna come on us more because Liverpool are home. They're gonna push to equalize. We're gonna back up, and we're gonna try and defend the lead. And we can't do that either because we need to keep the pressure on Liverpool as well. We can't just we can't just surrender the whole match because we've gone up 1-0 away from home. We need to do our defensive abilities. We need to be, compact, in good shape, keep the shape, and make it hard for them to score, and then actually defend well. But we can't also just then secede the entire game to them and put all the pressure on us, because we're not going to hold the lead. Yeah. If we go up 1-0, we're not going to hold a 1-0 lead. We're not. They're going to score on us. We need to have the balance of both. And this team scares me a bit in terms of that their mentality seems to be that they kind of go into their shell a bit when we do take the lead, when we do score. Right? So I don't know if I want necessarily United to score early in the match. I think maybe, just maybe, and this is me trying to navigate and sort of get into the team's head a bit and the mentality and sort of the optics of the match, yeah? I think it would be great if United can hold Liverpool from scoring, but we don't score too early in the match, but we score maybe late in the first half of some sort. I think it would be more beneficial if United score in the, 38th minute of the first half than if we score, let's say, in the first 12 minutes. I think if we score in the first 12 minutes, you're going to see us secede a lot of the match a lot more than we already are, yeah? Because we're probably not going to have, possession of the game. We're not going to have majority possession in the match. Whereas I think if we keep it 0-0, we keep it fairly open, we can still do both sides of the game. And if we get a goal, then we get one, we kind of go into halftime, then we just need to play a half. The pressure's still going to come, but we need to strike that balance. They can't get too scared. And I know I have a very good feeling if that's what happens, if we do take the lead. I'm not going to be surprised if these guys literally just basically forfeit all attacking intent like we've done in some of the other matches, which we really can't do. We shouldn't do it. It's not good. It's really bad for us. And it doesn't help us. It actually makes our situation quite worse because we're inviting even more pressure and the other team has no pressure. We can't afford that against them. We can't afford to do that. So, Axe says we need to win. Well, my thing really is we need to fight. I would say that. I would like to win. And if we win, I'm going to be happy as hell. Yeah? But, again, I'm under no illusions of what this situation is. They are our biggest rival. And I get that we need to win. But when you look at the situations of the clubs, they are much further ahead of us. We are at a much bigger disadvantage than they are. We are not home either. They are home. My thing for them really is we need to fight and we need to show up. And we need to put in a 90-minute performance. And we need to leave everything out there on the pitch. If they could do that much, I can be proud of the team for this moment in time that we find our club in. Because if we do that, we will not get battered. If we do the things that I just said, we won't get battered and we won't get embarrassed. And if you don't do those things, then I think you could walk out of Anfield with a little bit of, not that the club is melting down or anything like that. And we can move on to the next one. Because again, these matches aren't the ones that are necessarily going to get him sacked. Now, if we show up and we lose 8-0, totally different story. Yeah? I mean, it's an embarrassment. It's a disgrace. That's like a whole different level of, of a loss, humiliation, and whatnot. That's really, 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 really unacceptable. You can't do shit like that. Nobody can do shit like that, right? But if we go out there and we fight for 90 minutes and we give everything we got and the final whistle goes, and I think everybody that watches the match goes, you know what? We didn't get the win. Maybe we should have scored this chance or this chance. But generally, we could say our entire squad gave maximum effort and battled out there and actually put in a 90-minute performance. We just weren't able to get over the line I think we can kind of walk away from the game, move on to the next one. If we win, I mean, we're throwing a parade, pretty much. So, yeah. I mean, Lyle says a draw will be a very good result too for United at Anfield. This is a very difficult game. Even if Liverpool appears to be off the pace, we have to be very careful. I mean, even times when we were at our greatest, you know, when you go to play this match and you're away from home, we would still expect United to win, and we'd want United to win, and we'd say we'd have to win. But a draw away from home against Liverpool would never be the worst result. It would be a good result. Because it is the toughest match that you're going to play all year round. Yeah, and it is the biggest match you're going to play. So, but we're not aiming for a draw. But again, Axe, this is what I'm saying. You don't accept the fact that we are mediocre. You don't. And and again, I understand that we have principles at this football club and we have standards. But if you look at our team and you look at the situation this football club has been in over the past 3 seasons, and you look at the situation that Liverpool's been in for the past, I mean, you could go further than 3 seasons. We are 2 different, completely different places. We would like our team to win. What we're saying is, if we end up getting a draw for our current situation of our football club and where Liverpool is at, a draw is not a bad result in any shape, way, or form. I will take a point against Liverpool, home or away. It's a big, tough match. Regardless if we're good or shit, it's still a big, tough match. We have not forgotten our desire to win, Axe. We are realistic in that our team is nowhere near Liverpool's team. You are asking almost something impossible to happen to a certain level. It's very unrealistic. It's very unrealistic for what we have at the current moment in time. And this is what I was trying to say. We shouldn't forget those things, but you have to understand the situation that our club is in. To hold that level of standard was very good 15 years ago. Because because it was achievable, because we were doing it, but we had the means to do it. That was 15 years ago. 13 years ago. It's been 10 years. We have been nowhere near that. So to have those expectations, your expectations are never going to be met at this current moment in time because we're not there. We need to build back up to what you're asking for. We are mediocre because first and foremost, we're telling ourselves that we are mediocre. No, we are mediocre because our football club has been run like shit. And that's just what we are. We are. I mean, that's what our club has become. We are mediocre. We have been mediocre. It's just a statement of fact. We have nothing to do with it. Really. I mean, we didn't make signings. We don't run the football club. We don't hire the managers. We don't buy the players. We don't do anything. We're just supporters. We're just supporters. Moment lapse, says India. Fan base thinks back to Sir Alex Ferguson and expects us lifting the Premier League year in, year out. This is why they are disappointed at everything. And again, I don't, it's just a certain level. Like, I don't actually disagree with what the standard is that they hold on to. I think that they should hold on to that. I think we should all hold on to that. My problem is when they demand it now and instantly. It's just like, I just feel like what you're doing to yourself is you're just setting yourself up for failure. in terms of that, not you yourself, but whoever you demand that from, they're never going to achieve that in the time frame that you're expecting it, which is basically instantly. It's just, we're not, it's not like Sir Alex just retired a year or two ago. I mean, the way Axe talks is how I talked when Van Gaal was there and when Mourinho was there. But I stopped talking like that because it's been 10 years now. And we've gotten worse than where we were. And we are far away from that. And I don't forget those ideals. I don't forget those principles. I don't forget those standards. I don't. They're always there in the back of my head. But when I look at what we got and look at where we are and look at where we have been, it doesn't matter who the manager is. Literally pick any manager you want. I don't care. It could be literally anybody. And I will tell you, it will take them 3 to 4 years minimum. And they have to be able to survive the 3 to 4 years as well. They need to be able to get a certain amount of good results from season to season to season for them to actually stay here for 3 to 4 years. And I think it's very tough. And we've done a couple managers that have gotten 3 years, and none of them have gotten past the 3 years. They don't even get the full 3 years. So, there's no guarantee that just because we give somebody 3 to 4 years that it's going to work out. What I'm saying is, when we get to the point of having the person that gets there, that will get it over the line, that will make it happen, it's still going to take them 3 to 4 years. It's not, they're not going to solve whatever issues we have in 1 to 2 seasons. It just won't happen. We are too far, too gone. We have too much damage to our football club. We have 10 years worth of damages. Nobody's going to fix them in 2 years' time. It's... Unless, maybe with a little bit of luck, some things fall into place along the path, but I don't know. It is extremely possible to be given our squad. We aren't Slavia Prague. But what I'm saying is that if you look at our squad now and the way we've been performing and our players, and you look at our club and what our club's been over the past 5 years, and you compare it to Liverpool, Liverpool is in a much stronger, much better, much more stable place than we have been. We are right there, right off the bat, before you even get onto the football pitch, we are at a disadvantage. We are at a severe disadvantage. So we are always trying to fight, basically, from a losing position, essentially. Yeah, we're not, it's not like we're level with them. We're not level with them. We're not level with them. We are the underdogs. They are the better club than us right now. Yeah, they are the better team than us right now. They are the favorites. So it's not impossible to win, but it's not in our favor. It's not even close. And I'm just being real. And I'm just, I'm not doing United bias. I'm being real for the situation. No true player who loves football goes to Anfield hoping for a draw. All winners want. I want to win. We're not talking about. Lyle didn't say I'm. Lyle did not write, God, I hope we draw. He didn't say that. Now, you can take Lyle's words and say that, he's hoping for a draw. But he didn't say that. So, I'm not saying that either. Nobody's saying that. We're saying if it ends a draw, it's not a bad result. We want the team to win. I mean, I don't know how else to put this. Every United fan wants us to win the game on Sunday. Yeah? Otherwise, I don't think you're a United fan, but there's probably some weirdo out there that wants us to lose so that Ruben can get sacked, even though he's not going to get sacked, even if we lose. But other than that, every United fan wants us to win this match. We merely just stated the fact that if we don't win and we get a draw and we don't lose, in our current situation, we will take the draw. A draw is a decently good result for us playing away from home at our current form. We haven't been able to win 2 games in a row. We are in a bad in some aspects, we're in a bad position. You go to Anfield and you get a draw, we will take that. For now. Yeah? There's nothing wrong with that. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Our standards are yes, but for now, we have to curb those expectations and gradually go back to the glory days, which will come again, but you can't expect it now. I mean, yeah, like we need to build. I mean, that's ultimately where we want to be. Do you think that I don't want my football club? You think I enjoy not knowing what what my team is gonna do on a week in, week out basis? That I have no clue if we're gonna win, if we're gonna show up, if we're gonna play like shit, if we're gonna get embarrassed, if we're gonna, put a good performance. I don't like that. I can't actually be confident in my football club, which is, for me, growing up under Sir Alex, is quite abnormal and is weird. And I feel sort of lost when it comes to that aspect, because I don't know what that I don't know what that actually is. What I know is that we go out there and we play to win every match, and we demand greatness, and we control the game, and we play like champions, and we become champions. I don't forget those things. It's not like I've forgotten them. It's not like I don't remember them. But what we have right now, these guys are nowhere near that. They are nowhere near that. This club has been nowhere near that for 10 years. So for me to go on a week-in basis and say, we got to win or you don't, or get sacked, is like, just doesn't make sense every single match, because there are some matches that we at this current moment in time, we're far away. Yeah, we're far away from other clubs. I have not forgotten the soul of this club. You were just saying things. DJ Darkest Night is here, says, hello mate. I see I've caught you in the throne room again. How are you, dude? I'm good. I'm good. We're just talking, United standards and stuff like that. Because Axe is always demanding greatness, which again, I keep saying I don't disagree with that. But my take on it is that, I mean, where we currently are as a football club, we're not, it's not going to happen at this moment in time. It's something that we need to build back towards, and we should absolutely build back towards. But DJ says, all kings go through a transition. Sadly, it's a normal 20 years. If true, we are still 10 years away. Well, that's the whole thing. Yeah, I mean, I think our worst period, when I looked back in the history, I'm sure there was one longer, but from what I could see there was one that it was probably about 20 years. Yeah. Liverpool did about 20 years. Amorim mentioned this on his press conference. He says, when you look back through the history of the clubs, one sort of goes missing for a period of time, which means that, if Liverpool are at the top, United sort of have gone missing historically. And when United become good and go on top, Liverpool sort of go missing, and it's usually a 10 to 20 year period. So again, these things are sort of ingrained into both our football clubs, and we are very, historically, we are very pretty much, we're kind of like a yin and yang with each other, to a certain degree. And what's happening now is, I mean, we had our dominant reign for 20 years. And they were sort of they were basically missing. Now, their low isn't as low as we've hit, but they also didn't have the Glazers in charge of their football club, yeah? So, I mean, there's a difference there, who are the worst owners. But, I mean, this is in periods, and it's been about 12 years now or something like that. So, we might have a few years left to go. But, 3, 4, you say 3, 4, 5 years, that's close to the 20. which probably seems accurate at this current moment in time, because even if we spend the next 3, 4, 5 years to kind of build the squad back up to where we need, or the club back up to where we need, you know, if you say, let's say it takes 4 years and we're actually challenging now, you know, we're let's say we're in second, 2 points off of first, we're actually challenging for the title in 4 years time. You know, that's about almost 20 years. It would have taken us almost 20 years to get back to the point of where we're actually supposed to be. So we won't stay like this forever. We never have. And I don't believe we ever will. Football is changing in different ways, and there's different impacts with all the money that's coming in and the different owners, and you know, the strength of the league is getting more and more. But historically, I think our football club has always done this. You know, we've always come back from like the bottom of the depths, where it looks like, you know, the club is in utter shambles, and then after a certain period of time, we do come back and we do go to the top. So I do believe we will at some point, but I think it's just going to be, you know, DJ Darkest Night, you say a draw or 1-0. If we can go to work Monday with our heads high up, etc. But this is what I'm saying. Like, well, where we are right now, I mean, I know they're in bad form in terms of that they lost 3, but I just think that, listen, like I've been saying before, I can be okay because, again, I like my team to win, but I still, just being fair, Liverpool are the favorites. I mean, they're home, and their club has been in a better position than we have been for at least a minimum of 5 years. So when I take into those things into account, they are the favorites for the match. If we come out of that match and we get a draw, I will take the point against Liverpool. If we go into that match, what I want to see from the team is I want to see them fight for 90 minutes. I want to see them put in maximum everything. I want them to leave everything on the pitch. And if we lose the match 2-1, I'm going to be disappointed, but I can at least keep my head up to a certain height to be like, you know what? We didn't lay down and die. We didn't get embarrassed like what's happened to us. And that's kind of where we're at. I mean, we lost 7. We got hammered 7. We've been embarrassed by them, yeah? And this is what I'm saying. You can't necessarily demand greatness from this team when in the past recent years, we have been rolled over and embarrassed and destroyed, yeah? So last year, Amorim, when he was in charge, we drew 2-2 away from Anfield, at Anfield, yeah? And, I mean, he wasn't here, Amorim, but when Ten Hag was here, we lost 3-0 at home, and that was the beginning of the season. That was September 1st, 24. When we played them the previous year, we tied 2-2, and we were home. We played them in the FA Cup. That was when, who was that? Kobe Mainu scored the goal, the winner. 4-3, and we had a red card. But, I mean, we lost 7-0. 7-0. March 5th, 2023. We lost 7-0. We lost 4-0 in April 2022. We lost 5-0 at home. October 24th, 2021. You know, so in recent times, it hasn't been really that good. I mean, last time we beat them was August 22nd, 2022. We beat them 2-1. That wasn't the last time. In the league, in the Premier League, the last time we beat them was August 22nd, 2022. And we beat them 2-1. Was that Ten Hag's first year? Or was that Ali? Is was that for Ten Hag's first year? I think it had to be because Ten Hag was the one that lost 7-0, yeah? To Liverpool. Which was in March. So am I being bullied on YouTube? No. Nobody can bully me. Can't bully me. I can't be bullied. I can't be bullied, Darkest. Who's gonna bully me? Especially on the internet. That can never happen. Darkest says, bloody hell, in 10 years I'll be dead. I'm 67. Nah, you'll still be alive. Don't worry about that. You won't be dead. Don't say things like that. Sounds like a prison sentence. Well, yeah, I mean, it kind of feels like a prison sentence, Darkest, doesn't it? Kind of feels like we've been doing, a 20-year bid. Because we're kind of living, this is kind of a living hell, man. It is. Elias says football is a tricky sport. That's why we love it. Look at Arsenal. They are a top team, but they have only won one trophy in 5 years, and that was the FA Cup, not the league. Darky says on a more optimistic note, all of our overseas players have been on fire for their countries. Hopefully they'll bring that passion at Anfield. Well, that's the thing that really I think, again, I think to what Ruben said, I agree with the guy. I think when you make a good performance, like we did against Arsenal, yeah, if you keep those levels, we could beat most teams. But we can't seem to beat those to bring those levels to every match, and I don't know what it is with the players that they have this problem. But we've had this problem for many managers as well, with different players in the squad as well. So it's more than just sort of, I guess, a manager-player dynamic, because I just find it hard to believe you could have 3 to 4 different managers with a bunch of different players in their squads. I mean, Ruben has this problem with this group of players. Some of them obviously were here for, or a lot of them were here with Ten Hag, but they were not here with Ali, and they were not here with Mourinho. So, but they also had those problems, and they had different players. So I just, it makes me very skeptical that it is solely a manager player sort of problem issue that has to be fixed by the manager for the players. It has to be bigger than that. It's got to be bigger than that. It's got to be something with the club. I don't know everything that happens inside the club. We don't know everything. We only know what is told to us. We don't know what actually 100% happens behind the scenes. The manager does, for the most part. I mean, he doesn't live with the players, so he doesn't know exactly what they do at all times of the hours of the day, but he does see them a lot more than us. And when he's calling it out, because we see it, and he sees it, and everybody sees it. I mean, yesterday, when I was chatting with my friends, one of them is an Arsenal fan. He said the same thing, and I wasn't even talking to him. Yeah, I wasn't even talking to him. He was talking to a buddy of mine who's not even really that big. Like, he's a football fan, but I think he's a fan of Barcelona. Yeah. And he was talking to him about the match, and I was just there listening, and I didn't even want to get involved because I didn't want to put my 2 cents in. I just wanted to hear what they had to say. And even he was like, listen, he was like, he's like, United struggle against the shit teams. He's like, I don't know why they do that. He was like, but they don't, he's like, they don't show up. He's like, when I watch them play the small teams, he's like, it's like they don't even try. He's like, but when they play the big teams, he's like, they usually turn up and they play a good game. And I'm like, even somebody that's not a fan of our football club, that is a fan of a rival team, is seeing it. And this is a guy that doesn't, it's not like he watches us week in, week out. He watches us every once in a while. He watches Arsenal every week, obviously. And every once in a while, he'll watch us. And he is sort of an old head as well. I mean, he's about 46 or something like that. He's in his mid-40s. So, he has experience watching, and he's been through different generations. And even he can quite clearly see that our football club has this dynamic issue where we go to play these smaller teams and it's like we can't be asked, like we don't show up, we don't give full effort. And then when we go and play the big matches, we turn up and we actually play a decently good game. And now obviously he's hoping for us to win because they want to stay atop of the league and get a bigger point difference between Liverpool. But yeah. Diallo scored that. Oh, it was Diallo. Did Mano scored the other one then? To tie it. Axe. Losing 5 at Old Trafford, what a nightmare. And this is what I'm saying. Like, in recent times, like, from where we are as a football club, not what we were, but what we are. We have to, like, sort of live in reality in today's time. And unfortunately, it's not where we want to be. I don't want us to be here. I don't want us to be here. I don't want my football club to be what it is. I don't want to say the things that I'm saying, but I'm saying them because it's just what we are at the current moment. I don't want us to be mediocre. We are mediocre. We've been mediocre for quite some time. We've been mediocre for quite some time. We've been lost for quite some time. We've been poor for quite some time. I don't like these things. I don't enjoy saying this about my football club. I wish I could say positive things. It's very hard to defend this football club for what it's been doing and how it's been over these past years. When people try to banter us and give you shit, there's nothing we can really say other than the fact that we have 20 Premier Leagues and we have these trophies. But their response always is to, you guys are living in the past. And to a certain extent, they are a bit right. I mean, how many times are we going to say we won the league in 2012? It was 10 years ago. It's not to discard all our past achievements, but what argument do we have against any of the top clubs to talk shit back to them at this current moment in time? We don't really have any because we've been quite awful, unfortunately. And I just hope that we can get to a position where we can change that. But I think we're going to have to be sort of stuck in this for the next few years. Regardless if Ruben is here or not. I mean, if he gets sacked and another guy comes in, he's still going to have loads of problems. And it's still probably going to take him 3 years, 4 years to do what we want to do. And that's if it goes well. If it doesn't go well, I mean, he'll get sacked and we'll have to do it again. And it'll still take another 3 to 4 years. You can feel the vibes from around the world. Well, I think a lot of people, again, because of how inconsistent, DJ, we've been, and you just don't know what kind of United you're going to get. I think there's sort of a hope and there's sort of a bit of an expectation, considering that I think if you asked most of our fans, they would say we usually tend to turn up for the big games. Does that mean we win them? Not all the time, but the performance levels seem to be much higher when we do play, a derby or a big match. So that's kind of the hope and the expectations. But because of the way we've been, there's a lot of uncertainty. We just don't know. Even me, like, I kind of feel like there's something there for the taking. I feel like there's something that we can go and do there on Sunday, and we could get a win, and we could make an upset. But at the same time, I can't be 100% sure on that because I just don't know what team we're going to get. I don't think Ruben knows what team we're going to get. And that's bad not because he's clueless, but because the players and the club have a tendency to do this. They tend to show up one game and not show up the next game. And sometimes they fooled us all and they don't show up in the big game when we expect them to. So I just don't know. Here's the thing that is probably sums it up the best. My concern is if we don't show up, Yeah. I think if we show up like I kind of expect the team to do, because that's what they generally do when we play these matches. If we turn up, I think we'll be fine. I don't know if we'll get necessarily the win, but I don't think we'll get embarrassed, rolled over, destroyed, humiliated. I don't think that will happen if we turn up like I expect the team to do. The issue is I can't be 100% certain that and say they're definitely going to turn up. I don't trust them. They have let us down many times before. I don't think anybody can trust them. I don't even think that some of the players can trust themselves necessarily on a certain level to do that. Because they have failed to do so many times. So there's a bit of worriness in there that if they don't turn up, because if they don't turn up, I'm telling you now, we're going to get smashed. We're going to get smashed. So they need to be ready and they need to turn up. Now, I will say, Amorim has a very vital role in making sure that they are prepped and ready. Mentally wise, they have their own responsibility in that aspect as well. They need to prep themselves and be mentally ready themselves. They are the ones going on the pitch. They are the ones playing the game. They are the ones wearing the kits for Manchester United. They need to take responsibility. They are adults, and these are professional players getting paid hundreds of thousands. So, they need to do their bit as well as the manager does. Obviously, the manager has to do the tactics. He needs to get the team sheet correct as well. Which we could talk about. I mean, I don't think there's much room that you're going to see any difference. I think we're going to get Sesko. The front's going to be interesting because I think Mbeumo is going to start regardless. I think he really loves Mbeumo. I think he likes Mbeumo. I think he really likes Mbeumo. Yeah. So I think Mbeumo is going to start. Then you have the question of, who is he going to go with? Is he going to go with Mount or is he going to go with Cunha? Because last time, I expected Cunha to start, but he went with Mount, which kind of surprised me. Now, I don't know if that was sort of a fitness thing, that they were just kind of being a bit cautious with Cunha. Because he had a slight injury, he came back, so they maybe didn't want to push him too much. I think, from my opinion, I think using Cunha's attitude and sort of mentality, that bit of fieriness, and it's a derby, I think we need that. So I think Cunha should be getting in there with Mbeumo. I don't know if I would necessarily go with Mason Mount. Now, he might go with Mason Mount for some different other reason. Maybe, Mount has I don't know, better passing, better vision than Cunha or whatever, and maybe he wants that aspect to try, for the attack, so that the attack can score more goals. I don't know. It's, the way he views the match tactically and how he's going to set it up. In the midfield, I think we're going to see Bruno quite clearly and obviously. And then next to him, I would say, I feel like he'd probably likely go with Casemiro, but I don't know. I think there is a possibility that I think there is definitely an argument for why you would go with Ugarte instead of Cas, yeah? But I think it's kind of split for me. I can't really tell if he's going to go with Casemiro or Ugarte. Now, based off of the way we've been going about it so far this season, my feeling would go more towards him going towards Casemiro, but I don't know. I think when you get to the defensive line, I think that Amad Diallo should be right wing back. There should be no ifs, ands, buts, or questions about it. I don't think there's anything to really discuss there. I don't think there's really any conversation whatsoever about that right wing back position. I think Amad Diallo is probably playing the wing back position the best out of all the people that we have that can play that position. And that's combining the right side and the left side, even though he just plays on the right side. Maz isn't necessarily fit, so he might be on the bench. So I don't really expect him to start. And actually, I like Maz better as a centre-back anyway. I would prefer to see Mazawari playing centre-back over Luke Shaw in that case. I don't think that's going to happen because I don't think Maz isn't fully fit. So if he is available, he'll be on the bench. At center back, you need Lenny Yoro and you need Delit automatically. And then I don't think Heaven is fit, so you can't even make an argument for him to go in there. And then that pretty much leaves you Luke Shaw because of the left foot. I mean, there is Maguire, but I don't think anybody's going to be asking for Maguire to be starting in that back line. Especially, I don't like the aspect of having Maguire, Delit together. Although, if you do that, then Maguire cannot play central. He cannot play the center back. Because that center back tends to be the one that stays back and doesn't kind of go up. Yeah? And Maguire can never be the last man. So if that happens, Maguire cannot be center back. Because he can never be the last man back there. He will get absolutely burnt for pace and, you know, it'll be a disaster. Like what happened in the Brentford match on the first goal. It never happened. It can never be allowed. Yeah, and then left wing back, really, again, I think it really goes down to Dorgu and Delo. And, you know, I don't know. I mean, Delo hasn't been playing well. Dorgu hasn't been awful, but again, he has a lot of problems in his game in terms of his crosses aren't great. His passings, some of his passing isn't great, and some of his decision making isn't great either. Yeah, he needs to improve on those things. I don't know which one you necessarily pick. I feel like there's probably a very good chance that he goes with Delo at left wing back and play Diallo at right wing back, and we'll probably have a back line of Shaw, Delit, and Yoro. Yeah, which again, I don't know. Luke Shaw back there worries me, but maybe he'll be up for it because it's a big match. He seems to be like one of those players where he turns up for big matches, smaller matches. It's like he can't really be asked or something like that. So, should have hired Guardiola. Well, we couldn't have hired Guardiola. We couldn't because he didn't want to come to us. So we should have hired Guardiola. Maybe we would be in a different place if we did. But you can't hire somebody if he didn't want to come to us. He didn't want to come to us. He didn't want to follow Sir Alex. He didn't want to come to Manchester United. The project that they tried to present to him was not one that he liked. And yeah, he just didn't want to do it. So we just didn't have it. We didn't really have a chance to do it. They fucked it up. They fucked it up when they went to go present it to him. So, you know, unfortunately, maybe we would be in a different circumstance if we were able to do that. I would agree. Because when I was that age, Axe, at that time, that's what I said. I said we should get Guardiola, and I was actually really pissed at Guardiola because I was like, how the fuck would you want to go to Manchester City over Manchester United? But that's what he wanted. He chose to go to City over United. And I was just like, you go there for the money because they have the checkbook and shit like that. You know, you're not going to come to United. He was afraid to follow Sir Alex. I will call him out for that. He was afraid to follow Sir Alex. It was easier for him to go to City because they had no expectations, really. I mean, they won one league by the time he got there. There was nothing. There was nothing to live up to there. There was nothing at all to live up to. It was way easier. It was like a blank slate for him. Way easier. So That's how I was always pissed at him, because I'm like, you're a disgrace. The fact that you would choose to go to City over Manchester United. I mean, we are Manchester at the time. It was like, we are Manchester United. We should be getting that type of manager should be coming to us. But it didn't happen. And there's his history. Many factors to the worries. LOL. Back-to-back wins. Haven't won at Anfield in 10 years. The Premier League champs. I'm slightly optimistic though. I mean, listen, anything can happen. It's a derby. Yeah, we could go and win that fucking match on Sunday. I hope we do. I hope we do. Because you know what? At the end of the day, we all need it. We all need it. The fans need it. Our football club needs it as a whole. Our entire football club needs it. Just the club itself needs it. Amorim needs it. The players need it. Everybody needs it. We actually need the win. Yeah, we need the win. If we don't get the win, nothing in terms of, I mean, like, he's not going to get sacked and players aren't going to lose their job. Yeah. But in terms of what good it could do for our football club, we could use the win. Yeah, we could use the win. Everybody associated with our football club could use that win if we were to go and pull that off. I mean, it would be huge. It would be monumental. And who knows? I mean, you get a win like that, and maybe, I mean, we keep saying this and hoping, and then I'm starting to lose a bit of faith that it's ever going to happen, but you would just think that at some point, some shit's got to start clicking, yeah? Like, I mean, if we do go and win this match on Sunday, I know everybody, if we win this match, let's say we win the match Sunday, everybody's going to say, and this is going to be the talk, and I'm telling you now, because it happens every time, and, you know, even I say it, everybody's going to be like, okay, this is the start of the season. This is the kickstart. This is where we can start. We can build something on this. Yeah, and what do we do every time? We go into the next match and we play a shit performance and we get a shit result, and it's disappointing. Like, if we win this match, we're going to play Brighton and we're home, I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken. After this match, we play Brighton and we're home. If we win this match against Liverpool, everybody's going to be like, okay, we got a really good result against Liverpool. We played a very good performance. We're at home against Brighton. Everybody's going to expect us to win the match in terms of our fans. Everybody's going to say, must 3 points, has to happen. You got to get the win. And this is what Ruben was. This goes back to the quote that Ruben gave. And this is why I say, like, tactically or tactics, you don't have to agree with the man. But in terms of the picture and the optics of the squad and the current club, he understands. And he says exactly what we're saying. He says, right here, he said, maybe the expectations, when you are expected to win, it causes difficulty. We need to have more confidence to play the game. This is what he's saying. Like, we are not necessarily expected in terms of the world aspect. All fans of all clubs, most people are saying Liverpool are favorites and Liverpool are going to win. We are not expected to win this match. There is technically less pressure on us. Then when you go to play the next match, when we are home and we are playing Brighton, there is far greater expectations for us to win the match. And he says maybe the expectations when you are expected to win, it causes difficulty. I think you could take it one step further and say that the expectations when you are expected to win for us, this football club, it definitely causes difficulty because we have a problem with it. We have a problem with it. We keep doing this where we will hit or get a good result. We go into the match where we are expected to win, where we are the favorites. That's why I don't like being, unfortunately, because I know what's coming. And I don't want it to be, but I know that this football club hasn't been able to kind of turn the page on that. When we went to go play Tottenham in the Europa League final, many people were making us the favorites. I was worried about that. Because it seems like every time we are made the favorites for the match, we somehow fuck up the match. And when we are not favorites to win the match, like, for example, Atletico Bilbao, when we played them in the Europa League, many of our own fans did not make us the favorites. many of our own fans were saying that Atletico Bilbao were going to destroy us. So we were not favorites. I mean, our own fans didn't make us favorites for the match. We blew past them with ease. But then we go and play a match against Tottenham, Europa League final. Everybody's saying, well, we're United, we win trophies, and Spurs are Spursy, and they don't win trophies, and we're the favorites. And then what happens? We go out there, we put in the worst fucking performance a United team has ever put, and we lost the trophy. And now we're in like a situation again, the same thing. We're going to play Liverpool. We're not the favorites by a landslide. And I'm not going to be surprised if we go out there, if we do get a result, or we do put in a very good performance. Because this is what we do. Then when we go to Brighton, and I try to keep this in mind, depends what happens on Sunday, obviously, but keep in mind, I mean, we'll talk about it after the Liverpool match if we do actually win. I'll bring it up again. When we go to play Brighton, I hope we don't see this, but in normal pattern, we will go play Brighton, we will be at home, and we'll find a way to either lose or we'll drop points and draw and not win the match. So I don't know how we get over that sort of pattern that we're in, this sort of routine. We need to get out of this. But this has been happening. I mean, it's Ruben's problem to deal with now, but it's been a problem through Ten Hag. It's been a problem through Oli and even Mourinho. And I don't know what the answer is to solve this. But we need to find it at some point, because it's the only way that we're kind of going to get out of doing what we're doing. So Ugarte will start, says Lyle. Casemiro might not be 100% fit. He played 90 minutes in Japan this week. Well, he was given rest, yeah, so I don't know. Maybe he does play. I don't know his like, you know, his fitness levels. But I mean, considering that we haven't been playing, I mean, considering that we don't have a full schedule and we play once a week, maybe him playing, you know, 90 minutes in Japan this week, I think maybe he could play. You know, I don't know what his regimen is. I don't think he's like Ledley King, where, you know, he can't train and then he could only play once a week. Was it Ledley King? Yeah, I think it was Ledley King at the end of his career, when he was basically so, his body was so deteriorated that he literally couldn't do training during the week, because he would play the match on Sunday and it would take him a week to recover. So he just literally wouldn't train, and he was just playing matches. He literally couldn't do team training. I don't think Cass is like that. And if he played 90 minutes, he should be all right, considering that we have a lower schedule, a smaller schedule. Yeah. So, as long as he's not injured or anything. So, Max says we need a 4-2-3-1 point. DJ says, sure, Delit and Euro. Most fan bases are coming to the same conclusion. Dorgu every day of the week. He scored an assist for his country. Yeah, I think, listen, we need to be a bit careful with that sort of international thing, yeah? Because it's international football. I don't really like to, personally, I don't like to really make any correlations to it. I mean, we've seen, there's been multiple examples. You know, there's a guy lights up the World Cup or the Euros, and then some team goes and buys him and brings him to like the Premier League or something, and it just doesn't hit the same, yeah? So like, you know, those international things, I am quite wary of them. I mean, but you know what? And he scored, he's in good form, he's feeling good about himself, could help and could translate for us onto the pitch as well. Um, and he got an assist, so he could be in a good space. So Pep would just smile and say no, respectfully. That Pep has stayed at City for so long, especially after Barca, what a manager. Um, it's like Diogo Simeone going to manage Real Madrid. Well, I mean, Pep wouldn't come now, yeah? I mean, that's done and dusted. Yeah, that's over with, right? I'm talking about when Fergie retired, there was this story that they approached Pep to take over from Sir Alex. Now, Pep tells the story that basically Sir Alex tried to make him the offer. He didn't understand what Sir Alex was saying because of the heavy Scottish accent that he has. Whatever. I mean, I think that was it was kind of bullshit. Like, it was a joke because really United were looking to get him, but he just denied us. He just didn't want to come to Manchester United. He didn't want any part of whatever project they had at that time, the way it was set up. He didn't want any part of it. He did, you know, whatever they offered to him, whatever the project that they tried to sell him, he didn't think it was good. City made him an offer, and obviously he spoke to the owners, and they had the vision and they had the project, and it was quite exciting because it's new. And again, it's like a clean slate. He gets to make his own imprint. And I don't necessarily blame him per se on that aspect now as an adult and older, because again, I mean, nowadays I think it's a bit far. There's still the comparison, but it's not that much of a comparison. If he came at that time, the comparison would have only ever been to Sir Alex. He would have never really been able to get out of the shadow of Sir Alex. Everything that Pep would have done would have been compared to Sir Alex, and how Sir Alex never did that, and Sir Alex never did this. And I don't think Pep would have been allowed to be Pep, yeah? So I don't really hate on him anymore for it, because when that happened, I was like 14, yeah? I'm a lot older now, so I have a different perspective on it. But Pep went to Bayern first before City. Well, that's true too, yeah. But the thing is, he rejected us. Is the main thing. The main thing is he rejected coming to us. So, United could get relegated to the Marbles League, but most of us would still be there grown. I mean, yeah, I don't think we, and again, I don't think we would ever get relegated. Not in today's time. Yeah, I just don't see it happening. Again, I think you would get, even if a manager dropped us down there, they would lose their job before it would be confirmed, and then you'd have to do something about it. I just don't think, I think the way the Premier League is set up, I just think the teams that come up are at such a disadvantage financially that it's just, it's, when you compare our money and our stature, it's like, it's almost impossible for it to happen. You would need something abnormal. Like, you would need like a team that gets promoted to somehow, you know, be performing extremely well, where they end up like, you know, they're doing like maybe mid-table or something, and they're looking very good for their first season in. And then you would also need, like, you know, for example, like, look at Wolves, man. Like, they're, you know, they've been in the league for years now. I mean, but they're looking absolutely awful. You would need a team like Wolves to not do what they're doing, to basically for United to end up falling in that spot. Because as bad as we've been, or as bad as things have gone, I mean, we're not doing what Wolves have been doing. We're not doing what West Ham is doing, and we're not, you know, Burnley is promoted. So, but like, I mean, Leeds is in 15th on 8th. They're 4 points above relegation, so they're doing all right. Who is the other team that got promoted? Sunderland. And Sunderland are the ones that they're actually doing the mid-table thing, because they're in 9th. They're one above us. So, yeah, not only do you need like the promoted teams to do decently well, but then also you need teams like in the league. Like, I mean, look at Forest. Look at where they are. Look at how they've ended up. I mean, they're 17th now. Last year they were at the top of the league. you know, you got West Ham down there and you got Wolves down there. So I think it's very hard for United to get relegated. You know, we could be close to relegation. We could be closer to relegation than we are to the top four. But to actually get relegated, I don't buy that. A lot of people say that, but I just don't think so. Listen, I speak, but I do get to the comments. Axe says yes, but we can't accept that. It's just a problem that has to be solved. We can't desire to be viewed as underdogs. In order to avoid the pressure, we have to have a winning mentality. That's who we are. Well, I agree in terms of that. If you apply that to our players, like specifically to our players, and I think, you know, when the match starts, the fans in the ground and stuff, because they have an impact on the game, you know, with the atmosphere and stuff. Now we're away from home, so it's a bit more difficult. But I would agree. I would agree that I think that's two different things we're talking about, though. I think there's one aspect for the players to have a certain mentality, so that they can avoid the pressure. And I don't think you can be telling the team that. I don't think you can. You can't be telling the team we're expected to lose. You got to be telling the team that we're going to go out and win, and we got to win, and they have to have that mentality. I absolutely agree. But as a fan, looking at it or trying to look at it sort of from a more neutral standpoint, and then non-United fans, which is basically the rest of the world, they will tell you, and we are the underdogs. But from a player standpoint, yeah, from a player standpoint, you can't be telling the players that we're underdogs and that we have a big chance of losing. I mean, you have to have them in the right mentality. And I mean, Ruben said that today as well. And this is what I was trying to say, Axe. Like, you might not agree tactically with Ruben, but the things you say about the football club, and we basically all say it, maybe in slightly different ways, but he says them too. He says them too. So, I mean, he said it here somewhere. I had it. I don't know where it went, but he said what you said, pretty much. I mean, like your statement when you say that it's a problem that has to be solved. We can't desire to be viewed as underdogs. I don't think we desire to be viewed as underdogs. I think what I'm saying, when I said that I don't necessarily want to be viewed as favorite, is because I know how this team is moving. I don't desire to be that. I want them to fix it. I want them to be able to be like, you guys are favorites and we actually go and win the match. Yeah. But I mean, Ruben sort of said the same thing here when he says we can win any game. If we think about winning the next game, we can win the game. You know, like when he speaks, I feel like he's almost like a fan and he's not the manager to a certain extent. So, you can't excuse him like we forfeited the whole season for the Europa League and then we lost because of extra pressure. Like, come on. But that's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying. The answer is the winning mentality I keep telling you about. We need to awaken our soul. I don't know if we have that. Lee is a perennial sick note. Axe, I don't know why you keep talking about Gen Z. I don't know what that means. Gen Z is not doing a revolution for Manchester United. And Buemo and Ahmad scoring, says DJ. Would love to see Pep do it at Leicester. I can't tell if it's a joke or not because I'm reading what you're reading. So unless you tell me it's a joke, but you did now, so now I know it's a joke. Elias says, imagine what United would do for the championship. It'll boost their viewership tenfold. The championship might get more views than the Premier League. Leeds, Burnley, Sunderland. Our U18's top of their league, our U21's top of the league, our girls are in the Champions League and have 2 out of 2. Our team, yeah, because we have a problem. The youth don't have a problem because they're kids. And they're fighting for their spot, and they're fighting for their future, and they're fighting for their career. They have something to go, and to be quite honest, there is less pressure. Yeah, I mean, like, I know they're kids, and there's still pressure there, but it's different when you are put in front of the entire world and all the scrutiny, because the kids, the under 18s, and you know what, even the women's team, and it's just not the same caliber as the men's team. I mean, you don't have Gary Neville, Roy Keane, Paul Scholes commenting on your performance when you're in the under 17s every week. You don't have all of social media really talking about you. In fact, a lot of the kids, especially like with how social media goes, a lot of the kids are bigged up by the fans, you know, like they get a lot of love, especially the ones that are considered the most talented, like Shea Lacey or something. I mean, nobody online, I've never seen a post where if Shea Lacey has sort of a bad game for, you know, the under 18s or whatever, I've never seen somebody put up and say, oh, Shea Lacey ain't it. He had a bad game. I don't see them putting in, you know, criticisms or tweets calling them a shit player or something. Really, it's just, oh, Shea Lacey scored 2 goals. What a kid. What a wonder kid we have, or whatever. And that's pretty much it. There is different levels. I think we could use that, though, to a certain aspect to... I mean, you would like to somehow transfer the mentality from the under 18s and our under 21s to the first team. But I feel like to do that, you probably would have to transfer the entire squad to kind of do that. And we'd have to replace the entire squad or something like that. Axe going to sleep. All right, we'll see you later, Axe. Good night. Rashford, Lingard, they all started there. Yeah. There was some other updates here. Yeah, I mean, again, I'll just hit home on the point that for me, the players versus Liverpool, I want to see themselves. I want to see the players work themselves into the ground. I want them to be absolutely dead after the match. They should be to the point where they can't almost breathe and can't walk. I mean, I think if we do that, I think we have a very good chance of doing something at Anfield. But they all need to do it, all 11, plus the substitutes. They need to do that on the pitch. I think if we do that much, I think we have a very good chance of doing something at Anfield. And that's really what I'm looking for from the squad on Sunday. I want to see them give the performance that is expected of a United team when you play a Liverpool and you play in a derby. I don't want to see us lie down and get rolled over. I don't want to see us getting played off the park in every aspect. I don't want to see us losing every 50-50 ball and not winning any of the duels. We need to be out there fighting. So there's been some updates with Xerxes, by the way. The increasing talk of a January loan for Joshua Xerxes, as he's only played 82 minutes, raising concerns about his lack of game time, although Ruben Amorim rates him highly and prefers he stays to compete for a spot. Several Serie A clubs are keen on signing him. Now, I just have a question. Well, DJ says if we lose, let's lose well. But that's been my whole point of the whole show, DJ. That's my whole point of what I'm trying to say, and where I was disagreeing with Axe, because Axe is basically saying you either win or leave this football club, which in terms of he's basically saying you either win this match or get sacked, which it's not going to happen. But I disagree with that sentiment for where we currently are. But I've said the whole show, the one thing, there is a way to lose in a respectful manner or respectable manner, yeah? And that is if we give everything on the pitch and we put in the performance like I've seen teams do, yeah? Local, professional. There's games you watch where you go, man, they gave everything they had. You literally can't even be mad at them. Really, you can't really be mad at whatever group of players was on that pitch. They gave everything. You know, watching it with your two eyes, the first thing that you say, the first thing that comes to your mind, they gave everything on the pitch. It you know, just wasn't enough on the day, but they gave everything. You can't be mad at them. You can't say there was a lack of effort. You can't say any of that. If they do that, I think we can move on and we go to the next game, and we could kind of have our heads held high to a certain level. Yeah, I think the worry for many of us is that we don't know if we're going to get that, and I think that's why we're worrying, because there's always a chance that they don't do that, they don't show up, and we get battered 5-0. And that's the scary part, the most scary part about our squad. So, yeah. My big thing that I would like to say, though, is why do people not have the same energy for Joshua Zirkzee that they have for Kobe Mainoo? I would like to know. I would like to know. Because Zirkzee has only played 82 minutes. And Zirkzee is looking for a loan. And he's not happy with his minutes. But he wants to stay and fight. And he's going to stay and fight. And he's going to see how it goes up until January. And hope for improvement in minutes. Which could very well do. Because maybe, you know, somebody gets injured. And the spot opens up for him. Or something like that. Or, you know, maybe he hits a bit of form. And he outplays one or two other players. And he's red hot. And he's making impacts when he gets on the pitch. I don't understand why there is this hysteria over Kobe Mainoo in terms of that everybody's like, Ruben doesn't want Kobe, he doesn't rate him, and Kobe's going to end up leaving this football club and they're going to sell him. But nobody gives a shit about Joshua Zirkzee. Even though last season, after the beginning of last season, when he started playing better, everybody was like, we need Zirkzee. We're relying on Zirkzee. And they were rating Zirkzee. And Xerxes not playing. And Xerxes playing less than Kobe. But nobody gives a shit about Kobe. I mean, nobody gives a shit about Xerxes, eh? Nobody is... what I mean by nobody gives a shit about Xerxes, I'm saying nobody is speaking in the same energy as they are for Kobe. Everybody is panicking about Kobe, like, because of the position that Kobe is in right now, Kobe's career is over. But nobody is talking about that in the same manner that Xerxes is. And Xerxes is getting less minutes than Kobe is. And he's getting less opportunities. And Xerxes played a lot more last season than he's featuring now. So I just find it a bit interesting. Because I kind of hold the same standard for both. Whereas in... this is football. This shit happens. The manager has made a decision. It might not be the right one. It might be incorrect. But this is how football goes. And you got to go through football processes, which is when you do get your opportunities and you do get your chances and you do get your minutes, you got to come on and make an impact. And you got to show the manager that he's wrong. Or you got to put the manager in a position where he literally can't not pick you, because you just keep doing things on the pitch in the limited amount of time that you're getting over the players that he's picking, to the point where he has to pick you over them. And Darkus says, I love Josh. I'd like to have to have kept Hoyland for another year. I would have. I said that I would have kept Hoyland as well. I always said we needed another striker. I always think we needed another striker when he first came. The first year we bought him, we should have had two. He should have had another guy with him. And I've always said that, you know, last season we needed another striker. We didn't have it. And this window, I said we need another striker. And I said I don't necessarily means that you sell or get rid of Rasmus. I'd have no problem Rasmus staying. I'd have no problem Rasmus being a backup. I actually said that I think we need two strikers anyway. I was a bit disappointed in how it went because Rasmus in preseason seemed like he had a point to prove, and he seemed a bit improved, you know, and he scored a couple goals, and then he just never featured again once it was like pretty clear that we were getting Sesko. And he was just frozen out of the squad. And I didn't really like that aspect. And I thought, you know what? That I don't know if that was necessarily the right decision to do. I would have liked to keep him. I think Josh was good last season as well. And I think he has some useful aspects. But this is the problem that comes out of... Now, people are saying, you know, we kept Xerxes to get rid of Rasmus. But I don't really see any evidence of that per se, because it's not like Xerxes is starting over Sesko. And when Sesko hasn't started, Cunha has been starting in the false 9, and Mount has been playing in the 10. So it's not even like we got... I don't really think we got rid of Rasmus to keep Xerxes, because Rasmus for me is only a striker. Rasmus is not going to play 10. Xerxes has not played as a striker, and Xerxes not even being able to get into a 10. So I don't know really what's happening there, but it's made life a lot more difficult because Bruno has been moved out of the 10 because we have Cunha and Mbeumo, and he rates Mount high. That's 3 players for 2 positions. Then you have the aspect of Kobe, which is you need to get Kobe in the team. Kobe... And I think we would probably agree. I don't think you would say Kobe can probably do a defensive job like Casemiro or like Ugarte, but he can play in the midfield. But it would have to be for Bruno, and Bruno isn't not going to play in the midfield there. So probably the only spot that he has a more realistic chance of getting even more minutes or more time is in that 10 spot. If you're putting Kobe there as well, I mean, there's 4 players there. Xerxes, it's like, how do you get him in? And the problem is we just don't have enough matches. Kobe needs to play football. I don't see it at United, sadly. He does need to play football, but I just think that, like... I just think that, like, a lot can change, especially for a young guy like him. Yeah, like it might seem like you're saying that it might seem like that he might not get the time that he needs to be playing football, but I feel like with him, I just feel like maybe this season is kind of a shit one for him. Yeah, in terms of minutes played, but I feel like that can all change by next year. I don't think it's like even to the fact that I think it could, just because it's like this now, it might not be like this in 3 months' time. It could... football is quite funny like that. I think it could change. And I think with him, I don't think it's the end of the world, per se. And I assume that things are going to happen in our squad where... That's why I just keep saying, if he keeps his head down and keeps working hard... I think football is always one that, you know, an opportunity arises somewhere here or there. And I just feel like if you keep your head down and put in the work, one will pop up for him. And I back him to take it. And also, again, I mean, he is getting appearances, substitute appearances, and he is getting minutes. So, like, it's not like he doesn't have 0 chance. It's not like Ruben's not playing him at all. It's not like Ruben's subbing him in for 2 minutes of the match. He has opportunities. So he still has chances for me to make it. Lyle says Kobe is a talking point because he played in the Euros. I was called up by England with the World Cup coming up. Everyone is Team Kobe now. It's rather annoying. Yeah, yeah. It's probably because he's an academy kid. I think is probably the biggest difference. It's probably because he's from the academy and he's a United kid, and Xerxes is not. I would probably point it up to that. And also, there's always this infatuation that people have with the young kids. I don't know if that has to do with FIFA manager mode, um, or football in general, with kids coming onto the scene and becoming world stars or something like that. But there's always this infatuation with the young ones that everybody just wants them to play every game, 90 minutes through every single season, every year. Um, and they just think that that means that they'll become like the world's greatest player by playing so many minutes. I mean, I've seen a lot of kids get burnt out. I mean, what happened to Ansu Fati? I know he had an injury, but I mean, he played a shit ton of games, yeah? And what happened to him? Well, he ended up getting injured, and now he's like literally half the player that he was. And you know, where is he? I don't. He's not even at Barca anymore, is he? Um, there was a scare for Gavi at a point because he was playing a lot of games as well, and he got a couple injuries. Or not Gavi, Pedri. No, Gavi. So, um, Elias says again, I say if there was no World Cup next year, there would be no news about Kobe. Well, I think there would be still this discussion because, again, like I think many people, if you ask them their preferred choice of midfield, I think many people would not be starting Bruno Fernandes in the midfield, and they would be starting Kobe Mainu there. So I think there would still be a discussion. I don't know if it would be pushed out there as much from Kobe's side, maybe because he's eager to play and you know he wants to be playing as many minutes because he wants to get back into the England team, and you're only going to do that by playing as much as possible. Um, but I think there would still be some sort of a discussion. There would still be fans kind of saying that you know it's a disgrace that he's not starting and stuff like this. But my standpoint is, again, I am different than the manager. I would look to be starting Kobe. It would obviously depend on how it goes, like his performances and what he's giving me, and what he's doing in training. And if it ain't good enough, I'm gonna take him out of there. But I would have probably started with Mano. Ideally, I would like to see Manu there. But the manager has made his decision, and then for me, where it goes is, but this is football. This is what happens in a grown men's league. I mean, you are, you have been, I mean, even for me, when I played, there was times where I didn't start, where I was considered the bench player. The only way you get out of that is when you get put on the pitch, you got to make something happen. I mean, it's just like, to me, it's just a standard footballing thing, you know? Like, plenty of players have gone through this where they're not getting minutes, or they're not playing a lot, or they're not starting. And everybody knows the answer to it. The answer is you need to just take your opportunity when you get it, and then you will change your position. So, DJ says now he's scoring for Napoli in Denmark. Well, yeah, but I think the things are different when you do that. I mean, listen, to play Serie A is different than the Premier League. Napoli is in a different state in their league and their structure than Manchester United is. Napoli is a decently big club, but it's not anywhere near the size of United. It's not talked about like United. It doesn't have the scrutiny that United does. It doesn't have the attention that United does. It doesn't have the, you know, the eyes that United does. The football is different in the two leagues as well. You know, Italy is a bit slower, a bit less physical than the Premier League. And Napoli, as a football club, in terms of, you know, their structure, I mean, they've built a good squad. And it's probably easier for him to operate because, again, the way I see Napoli, when you look at their team dynamic, one of the biggest differences is sort of the expectations of Rasmus. Like, Rasmus is a striker and he's expected to score goals, but at United, the entire onus was on Rasmus Højlund. Basically, Rasmus Højlund was demanded to, if the team doesn't create opportunities for you, you need to turn into like prime Harry Kane or prime Ronaldo or prime Messi and literally create 2 to 3 goals by yourself out of nothing, which is never going to happen. Whereas at Napoli, I don't feel that same onus is not on him. He is a player that is part of a team that isn't actually a team, and he has his specific job, and the rest of the team has their specific jobs, which is to create play and get him the ball and provide him with good opportunities. He's playing with more freedom there and less responsibility because the team dynamic is set in a proper way. Whereas when he was at United, everything was Rasmus's fault. Everything was always Rasmus's fault. There was so many of our United fans that said, when Rasmus leaves, we will be a better team. And there's no proof to that because it wasn't always Rasmus' fault. Rasmus was struggling, and that happens when you're not scoring and the team is shit. But if the team is shit and the team's not playing well, I don't know how one guy is supposed to do the job of 3 people every single week, every match. The guy had no help. It's a bit like quicksand. Like, he was already in the quicksand, and instead of us, lending a hand to pull him out of the quicksand, we stood on top of him and pushed him further and quicker down into the quicksand. Whereas the team dynamic in Napoli, they are giving him they're giving him a helping hand. They're actually holding on to him and stopping him from sinking, where we were making him sink faster and quicker. Lyle says Xerxes is the perfect example of buying a player for a manager. Sesko was the main target the year we got Xerxes, but that didn't happen, so he signed. And now we got our man, and Xerxes is more of a 10. Kobe needs to go out on loan, get his his mojo back. And if United want him back, we'll see. Well, I think United want him back. I don't think United want him to go. I don't even think, again, I don't even think Ruben doesn't want him. I don't think Ruben doesn't want him. I think Ruben wants him. I think the club want him. I just think that it is a footballing decision that not many people like or agree with and are being quite hysterical about it. I think they're being a bit over the top because it's United and it's Kobe Mainoo. I don't believe for 1 second that Ruben doesn't rate Kobe. I think maybe he doesn't rate him to a certain extent, but when they say he doesn't rate him, they make it seem like Kobe... When they say the words Ruben doesn't rate Kobe, they make it seem like Ruben views Kobe as a piece of trash and that he's useless and worthless. And I think that's can be anything but further from the truth. I don't think that that's accurate in any type of way. I think he wants Kobe to grow a little bit more and develop a little bit more, and he's using the experienced players. And there could be a mistake, but maybe he's right about it as well. And what I'm saying is, if Kobe's getting 20, 25 minutes to show you that Ruben is making the wrong decision, I haven't seen it yet. I haven't really seen it like I seen it with Diallo. Where Diallo was coming on, he was getting 5 minutes. Maybe 10, but 7 minutes. And in the 7 minutes Diallo came on the pitch, he did more than Anthony, he did more than Rashford, he did more than 75% of the team in 5 minutes of the match. And he did that 5 matches in a row. And from 5 minutes, he got 10 minutes. And 10 minutes, he got 15 minutes. And then he got 20 minutes. And to the point where he had to start, even though Ten Hag kind of went back on that after he did it. But I haven't really seen Kobe do that yet. So until he does that, I think Ruben has every right to continue with the way he's going about. I think it would be a dishonor or disservice if he's not giving Kobe... I think you should be able to give Kobe a good 25 minutes a match, yeah? at the very least. If you're not going to start him, if you think that he's, you know, not there to start yet and you prefer somebody else, I think he should be at least getting 25 to 30 minutes at the very least. I don't want to see Kobe being subbed in for 5 minutes. I think he's better than that. I think he's further along than that. But he should be getting 20, 25, 30 minutes. And in those 20, 25, 30 minutes, he needs to be making an impact on the pitch to the point of like, look how good Kobe is doing. And he's changed the game being on the pitch for 20 minutes, whereas Bruno has done fuck all, or Casemiro has done fuck all, or, you know, if he goes up in one of the 10s, these guys have done fuck all, and he's changed the game in 10 minutes. But he hasn't done that yet, so he needs to do that before we can have a real argument over should he actually, you know, make a switch. Laya says, but realistically, Cunha, Mbeumo, Ahmad, Mount, and even Bruno are ahead of Xerxes for any of the number 10 spots. They are. But the thing is, that's what I find puzzling. What was the plan? What is the plan? And I find it a bit weird because we used Xerxes, we used Josh quite a lot last season, and we had more matches to play, but he seemed like one that Ruben sort of liked to use. And now, like, when they say he doesn't rate Kobe, I keep just thinking of Josh. And I'm just like, well, Josh is the one that actually is playing way less. He's lost basically his whole spot. And he seems very out of favor. And if you would ask me which one he doesn't rate, I would tell you he doesn't rate Xerxes. I would tell you the one that looks most likely to be sold out of the two, I would tell you is Xerxes. I think with Mainu, I think Ruben wants to go through this process with Mainu because he's a young guy. I think he wants to build him up a little bit more. I think he wants to take a little bit more time with Mainu. I see Ruben sees Mainu as sort of a work in progress that he wants to work with. Whereas when I look at Josh, I kind of get the feeling that Ruben looks at him not like that. And is that's not something that he's actually trying to pursue. That's what I see kind of the difference. Football is fickle. If Bruno leaves, Kobe will be flavor of the month. And that's another thing as well. I mean, you know, in a year's time, you know, at the end of the season, if Bruno leaves, I mean, that spot is wide open for Kobe. Yeah, because we need a midfielder anyway. Right now, we would all take a midfielder. If Bruno leaves, we would technically need 2 midfielders. You're saying Casemiro, this is his last season. So technically, we need 3 midfielders. If you're going to replace like for like and add the extra one. Now, you probably don't need 3 midfielders. We have Kobe. He could take that mantle. And you're probably getting 1 or 2. You know. So, if there was no World Cup next year, Shaw would still be injured. You think so? I kind of find that interesting as well. You know, he's been fairly injury-free so far. And I'm quite interested to see. I'm telling you now, I have a feeling that this guy, for the first time in his career, DJ, is gonna be actually fit for the whole season. Because he has never completed a season since he's joined Manchester United, yeah? He's been injured every season. He's missed many of matches. Like so many. I think he's missed the most matches out of every player that we've ever had at our football club. And how long has he been at our football club? Like over 10 years now or something like that? He's never had one full season. He's never actually done a full season at Manchester United because he's been injured for half of them. I kind of feel like this season, I'd be surprised, but I wouldn't be surprised if he stayed fit somehow, some way. Yeah. So, but I think also maybe we might just say, I know this, it's like a lot of coincidences in that aspect, but I would say the fact that he's playing left center back and he's not playing left wing back, maybe it's just a lot less, you know, of running. So it's a lot less stress on his body, and maybe that's helping him stay fit. Or maybe he just makes excuses. I don't know. Napoli have a hell of a lot of ex-City and United players. I mean, the Italian league is pretty much like that. Yeah, it's I don't like to be disrespectful to the Serie A, but it is a bit of a, when you compare it to the Premier League, it is almost a bit of a retirement home to a certain extent for European players. I mean, look at Luka Modric. He's playing in Serie A at AC Milan. Look at Henrik Mkhitaryan is fucking 38, 39 years old. And I don't know if he's doing it this season, but last season, he was starting for Inter Milan. There is no way you're going to get a 38, 39-year-old Henrik Mkhitaryan and start him for any team that's in the top 8 in the Premier League and play him week in, week out in the Premier League. And they're definitely not going to play him in Champions League matches. So, the team, the football, and the country is it's totally different. Totally different. So I know this keeps happening and it looks quite bad because it's like they leave United, they play well. But to quote Mourinho on that one time, and I'll pull up the full quote because I don't like to misquote the great Mourinho and his great quotes, yeah? But to quote Mourinho, I wish I had this handy because I kind of fucked up the... But to quote the great Mourinho, for one he once said, when he spoke about football heritage, yeah, and he went on that rant, and he said, the heritage. He said, do you know what is also heritage? He said, is that Otamendi, KDB, Fernandinho, Silva, Sterling, Aguero? They are investments from the past, not from the last 2 years. Do you know how many of United players that left the club last season? And then he said, see where they play, how they play, if they play. That's football heritage. And one day when I leave the next Man United manager, we will find here Lukaku, Matic, and of course De Gea from many years ago. They will find players with a different mentality, quality, background, with a different status, know-how, and for some reason, you go to the Champions League quarterfinal like today, and there are 4 clubs that are always there. Barcelona is always there, and etc., etc. But essentially, that little bit where he says, see where they play, how they play, and if they play. I mean, that's pretty much what's happening. I mean, all the players that have left our club, I would just remind people, it's all fair, well, and good that they've gone to a different team in a different league and they're playing better and they're doing better. Like even Scott McTominay. But I would hold true to that quote. Are they doing it in the Premier League? Have they gone to another Premier League team and they are proving us wrong? Are they doing it in the league that they were playing in, week out, that we saw them for? Are they doing it in the utmost highest of competitions? Now, Scott's, to a certain degree, I mean, Napoli were doing in the Champions League. Rasmus is going to be their Napoli in the Champions League, yeah? But it's not like Rasmus has gone from United to Villa and Rasmus is scoring 30 goals. It's not like Scott McTominay left United and went to, I don't know, Chelsea and has become top 5 midfielder in the world. There is differences there, yeah? And so far, none of the players that we've had that have left us, that have been shit for us, none of them have left and gone to another Premier League team and succeeded in the Premier League. A lot of them, or some of them, that nobody talks about because there's nothing to talk about because it's not a talking point for other people. But, I mean, where did Amrabat go and what's happened to him? What's happened to Fred? You know what I mean? Nobody talks about these players because it's not a talking point. The talking point is when you have somebody like Scott McTominay and he's like number, I don't know, 9 on the Ballon d'Or list because he's gone to Italy and he plays in a totally different team in a totally different league. And it's something to hit United on. Marcus Rashford is the same. I mean, but I've always said about Marcus Rashford, it wasn't really about his ability. It was about his attitude and his mentality, and that he needed a new start. And he literally just said something about that today. And I was saying that for over a year. I mean, there is a problem when you have a player that has come through the academy that can't even give you the efforts to run. There is a problem there. A player that has come from the academy that is walking on the pitch needs a new scene, needs a fresh start. And the club need a fresh start from him, because you can't have a player like that. He goes to Barcelona. Barcelona are a very good team. They have a very good structure. The league is a little bit less competitive there, yeah, than compared to the Premier League. There's not 6 or 8 teams fighting for one spot. There's about 3, maybe 4, but really every season it's really just Barcelona or Madrid as the top 2 for the league. So James Garner is another one. I mean, listen, he's done decently okay. DJ at Everton, but is he fucking, is he world class? Has he gone on to blow people away? No. You know what I mean? Garnacho might be the only one maybe that he might prove us wrong, but again, I don't even think for me personally, Garnacho won't prove me wrong, because I actually rated Garnacho's ability. I just said that he was very selfish and that he needs to be less selfish, and he needed to do some other things. But me wanting him to leave the club was more so from an attitude aspect. I didn't like the things that he was doing, the way he was handling situations. I didn't like his attitude. I got fed up with it at the end. But it doesn't have anything to do with his ability. I always said I think he could become one of the best players. But he had to fix his attitude a bit, and he needed to be more of a team player, and he needed to make better decisions. He might be the only one that actually might be able to, if he does well at Chelsea or whatever in the Premier League, he might be the only one that it's like, well, look, he went from United to Chelsea, and he's really, really good at Chelsea, and he's really, really good in the Premier League. Jadon Sancho is shit. I mean, Jadon Sancho, to talk all the talk he wants, but he got sold from City, made a name in the Bundesliga, came to us, shit the bed, has gone to Chelsea, didn't really do anything amazing, special, was very bang average at Chelsea, and now has ended up at Villa, and I think he's played like about 3 matches, yeah? And when he went on loan back to Dortmund, before he went on loan to Chelsea, he played well with Dortmund. So he seems like he can't really cut it in the Prem, but Bundesliga plays well. Dortmund plays well. Plays very good for them. Premier League doesn't seem like he can really cut it. I mean, he got sold from City. He played like shit for us. He was bang average for Chelsea, and he's not doing so well for Villa right now. So, yeah. Well, Alvaro, I think, is a bit different. I think Alvaro was one that we never gave Alvaro a fair chance. Yeah, we never gave him a fair chance. We never gave him a real chance. I think that was a mistake on us, for sure, 100%. I think I think Alvaro, I would argue that they royally fucked that one up. Brother, cheer us up, please. We've got Liverpool Sunday. I got nothing to do with that. I mean, listen, they got to go win, and we'll be happy. Yeah, we got to go put in a performance. We'll be happy. That's up to the team, man. That's up to the team. There's nothing I can really say to cheer you up. Ray says Kobe needs to play more than his 15 minutes. Well, he's playing anywhere from 15 to 25 minutes right now. So, I think as long as he's getting that amount of minutes, for me, I would challenge him. I would challenge him, Ray. I would challenge him and say, maybe you should be getting more than 15 minutes, but you got to do something with 15 minutes. You got to have an impact on the game. You have to force the manager to give you more than 15 minutes. If that's what he's giving you, I mean, life is very unfair, and so is football. It is unfair sometimes. And sometimes players should be getting more minutes than they're getting, but you have to. I just see it as part of the professional job. Like, maybe he should be getting more than 15 minutes, but then do something about it. And when I say do something about it, like go on the pitch and do something about it. I think that's really the only, for me, the only two options that Kobe really has, or any player really besides Kobe. You know, it could be any player. You know, even for Joshua Zirkzee. Now, I think Josh is in a way worse position. And I think it's way harder for him because he's not even getting opportunities that Kobe's getting. But really, you have two. There's really only two things you could do. You can keep your head down and keep putting in the work and keep trying to take whatever opportunity you get. Or you could be a giant baby about it and you can bitch, cry, and moan and have a bad attitude about it and say the manager's a dickhead because he's not giving me more than 15 minutes and fuck him, I should be getting 25, and, you know, go act like a spoiled little brat, which I don't think Kobe will do, but I'm just saying those are really the two options that you have when you're in this position. You either fight for your place and keep trying to take your opportunities, or you act like a dickhead and you make a big deal about it and you cause more problems than solve your own issues. And you know, you create a giant problem about it. I would like to see Kobe play more minutes, but this is the decision that's happened in football, and you can come out of it by making an impact on the pitch. And so far, out of all the matches that he's come in, I think there was maybe one, maybe two, where he looked better than most of the players on the pitch. Out of the, what did he play so far? 8 matches? I could specifically remember one. Maybe you can make an argument for another one. I can't really remember. But specifically one, there was one where he came on that he looked quite like he made an impact in the 10, 15 minutes that he had. Other than that, I haven't really seen him do anything. I mean, he was part of the squad that lost to fucking Grimsby. He started that match. That was an opportunity for him. He didn't play very well. The squad didn't play very well. The team didn't play well together. But he didn't either. And he was part of that. So until he starts doing something, I think there's no reason for him to be getting more until he makes a push to get more. He needs to prove. We love marauding left backs. Fernandez would have. I just, you know, they fucked that one up, DJ. They should have. You know, that was a massive mistake that they never really gave him an actual chance. Yeah. And I don't blame the guy. I mean, he never wanted to come back here, and he was, you know, I don't blame him. That one we really fucked that one up. We did because, you know, we had a buyback clause in it. I don't know why we put in a buyback clause because he was never gonna fucking come back. You know, and he's Spanish, and obviously the Spanish and the South Americans, you know, their favorite club is Real Madrid or Barcelona. So if he was ever going to be good and one of them were coming in, and we got him from there anyway, we basically developed kind of a player for them, kind of, and then Benfica did the rest, and they took their fucking player back from us. So we really fucked that one up. We did. I think we regret it now. I mean, we could use him right now. I mean, I talk about how we don't really have enough competition in the wingback spot. And I don't, you know, I think Almas probably needs game time, so he's on loan. He's getting that. And I don't know if he was necessarily ready to be competing for a starting spot. But we're a bit light there, and Dorgu is a bit light in competition. And we could have used somebody like him. I think if you tell me if we had Dorgu and Alvaro Fernandez right now on the left hand side, and you had Diallo and Delo on the right hand side fighting for spots and positions, it would look a lot better. You'd have Maz, you could use him as a center back, and you don't have to use him as a wing back. So yeah, like DJ says, this guy's before you. Show me you can play better, or, you know, not even play better, but, you know, you could even break it down even further and say, here's 15 minutes. Show me why I should give you 20. Why I should give you 25. And he can do that. I think he can do that. So, and I think he will. I think he'll pull. I think he'll pull through to a certain extent. I don't know if it. I don't think it'll be in that position with Bruno, but somehow, some way, I think we'll see more of Kobe as time goes on. I don't think Kobe's going to be doing 15 minutes for the whole season. So, this guy is before you show me. Kobe will go to Napoli in January. Well, he might not because the club might not let him go, and Ruben might not let him go. He might go. He might want to go there on loan. He might ask for a loan, but there's no guarantee we let him go. I mean, we denied. We denied him a loan out before the window ended. So I mean, if they don't want to let him go, they don't have to. I mean, he could get pissed off about it all he wants. That could cause a problem, but there's no guarantee that happens. The club could reject it. The club could just be like, "We're not sending you on loan. We don't want you to go on loan." Or they could do something like they let Kobe go out on loan and let him get his minutes, and he goes to Napoli or wherever he ends up going. And then maybe we just pull in a loan ourselves to just, temporarily hold the position, because unfortunately, I mean, we technically need him. Like having two midfielders, or having three midfielders is not technically enough. You need one sub for each position. Ugarte is the sub technically for Casemiro, and Menu is technically the sub for Bruno, even though Bruno doesn't really get subbed and plays every match. So, but in terms of depth, we need, at the very least, we need to have four midfielders at the club at all times, just because you never know. Like, I mean, Bruno doesn't get injured, but what happens if he breaks his leg? What happens if Casemiro, I don't know, pulls his ligament or some shit? Then we're only gonna have one sub in the midfield. We're gonna have to, we're gonna need cover. So the only way I think they let Kobe go on loan is if they have some sort of plan to get somebody in on loan that we could use temporarily as cover, as a backup for the rest of the season, which I don't think they actually necessarily want to do that anyway. It just, I mean, we're bringing in a player to use for about 6 months that probably has no future at our club and is kind of pointless. So, sorry, play better than the guy in your position, then I'll play you. I saw Alvaro in the U18s drift from the left, keep the ball. Now he's on the right, gets the ball back and drifts over to the left and smacked in a wonderful goal. Now he's really good. As a fan, don't forget Kobe wants to play football. I know he wants to play. Every player should want to play. I don't know. I think it's a good thing if he's upset that he's not playing. I think I would be very worried if he wasn't upset that he's not playing, or that, he doesn't have an urge to play or desire to play. I don't think that's a problem. I just think that a lot of our fans are blowing this situation out of proportion when I don't think it's that big of a deal. I don't think it's as big of a deal as people are making it out to be. I think people are making the situation like it is the end of Kobe Mainoo's career or something. I just don't think it's that big of a deal. I don't see it that way. If Kobe was frozen out of the team and Kobe's not getting any minutes at all, I'd be highly concerned. And I'd be like, okay, I understand sort of the panic and the frustration behind it, because what the fuck is going on? But that's not the case. It's just that, again, even me, the midfield I would start, I would not have Bruno Fernandes there. But this is the decision the manager makes, and he's still giving him time, and he's still using him. And I truly believe that they have a plan for him, and it's not to get rid of him. But the plan takes time. So, Ray says, Eric, the point is Bruno played bad and keep his place, but Kobe goes in for 10 minutes. You pretend that he makes a miracle. Well, the Bruno thing is a problem because, again, he's the captain I don't know how you'd necessarily drop your captain. I would argue that you would have to find a balance in terms of that. If Bruno plays like shit, he has to be able to get subbed out, which I've always said. Again, I don't agree with a player that's like a god that is always in no matter what and can't get, it's one thing if he starts all the time because he is the captain. The captain is usually the player that he's going to start every match pretty much regardless, unless he does something like, defies the manager, breaks the rules, shows up to training late, isn't doing the things that he's supposed to be doing as a player, which I think Bruno Fernandes isn't going to do that. I think the bigger issue is I think Bruno is always going to start because I think Bruno is deemed the best player we have. Whether that's Amorim is here or Ten Hag is here or Ali is here. They've all deemed him the best player that we have at our football club. So he's always going to start. Especially when he was made the captain. He's always going to start. I mean, if you have a captain, you make him captain because he's always going to play. The problem is if he's having a really shit game, like he kind of did against City, he should be getting pulled off. And he should be getting subbed out because it's not his day. And you put somebody else in and you give somebody else the captaincy. Like we've seen Fergie do back in the day. I mean, he would always start his captains unless they did something that they weren't supposed to do. They had a giant fight about something and he dropped them. But other than that, he'd have the captain on the pitch. He was never afraid to sub the captain off. He'd give the captain to somebody else. Probably because in large, he trusted his other players and he was like, they can captain the side in terms of that we had more leaders. We miss a lot of leaders in this squad. And I don't know how much trust he has in the other players to sort of lead. Although I would make an argument for De Ligt. And I think if you sub Bruno off and you put in Menu, I think you give the armband to De Ligt and let him lead. Because I think he can do it. But that's probably the biggest option. The biggest problem is that he doesn't get subbed. Regardless. Whether he's playing good or bad, he doesn't get subbed. He plays 90 minutes. Which is the biggest issue. But somehow, I mean, Kobe's still getting minutes, right? So, I don't know where he wants to necessarily play him. Last time he subbed him in as a 10. As one of the 10s. So, if he wants to put him there, more so. But I think, again, I think that's Ruben looking to give Kobe minutes. Because he said that he's fighting with Bruno for the spot, but then you sub him in at the 10. And that's where I make the argument of, if he doesn't like Kobe and doesn't want to use Kobe, he wouldn't sub him in as the 10. What he would do is keep Kobe on the bench, don't sub him in, because he's not subbing Bruno out, and you have another 7 players that can literally play in the number 10. He could have put on Xerxes. He could have put on whoever else. He could have put Diallo up there if he wants. He could, But he chose to sub Kobe in there. So I think he was looking to get Kobe some minutes and Kobe to play. So he put Kobe in there. So And I don't think Kobe has to make a miracle when he comes in for 10 minutes. I think Kobe is not about making a miracle. He doesn't have to score some wonder goal. He needs to just make the most of the 10, 15, 20 minutes he gets. And he's not getting 10 minutes, by the way. Like, I know we're exaggerating a bit here, but he's getting longer than 10 minutes. Yeah, the first 3 matches, he got no minutes. But after that, he's been getting about 20 minutes a match. I mean, that's like almost normal substitute time. Yeah, and somebody's got to be the starter. Somebody's got to be the substitute. Somebody has to get the short end of the stick. So I think if he's there getting 20 minutes, he's got to use the most of it, and he's got to fight his way back in. I just don't see why he automatically gets to start if the manager has deemed that he's not at that high level of the pecking order. He's got to show that he is. He's not doing that right now. So Um, it's the mainstream press usually. Well, I mean, the press make their own thing, but I mean, our fan base. If you look at our fans and shit, I mean, they do the same. The conversation is within our own fans is very quite high. Sir Alex would have dropped anyone if he lost the faith. We're still talking about Kobe. Well, I mean, because there's been news today about Kobe as well. So, um, and it's just a talking. It's just an issue that is not going away. You know, especially within our fan base. It's a constant conversation that keeps being had. So we're gonna have to keep talking about it until it resolves itself one way or another. Whether that's him getting more game time, whether he makes a bigger impact and he forces Ruben's hand to get him into the team. I mean, many of players have been here before. Many of players have been sort of what people would feel like is a disservice to them, that they're not getting a fair shot or they're not getting a good opportunity or they deserve a better opportunity. Many players have been here. And there's been many different outcomes. Some players have rose above it and come out good on the other side. Some players sink lower. I think Kobe has the ability to rise above it. But I think we need to see it happen first. And I think he needs to keep chipping away. I mean, but Xerxes is saying this. I mean, for Xerxes, the same thing. Xerxes not playing much. He's obviously not happy with the current game time. Xerxes training hard, working hard, trying his best to help United. Xerxes not forcing a move out of United. Xerxes could move in January if he's still not playing that much. There's interest from several clubs in Italy and also England. For example, West Ham are showing some interest in Xerxes. But at the moment, nothing more than this, just some calls to understand the situation, and that's it. Because there's a lot of time and a lot of things can happen from now until when January opens. So, you know, it depends. You never know. You never know. I mean, I always go back to the Jadon Sancho situation. This guy was bitching, crying that he wasn't getting his opportunity. And even the fans were like, "Bro, give him a chance." Ten Hag wouldn't do it, but you know, when he opened his mouth and did that social media post that he did, he fucked his own chance. Because even if the manager was doing you wrong, and even if the manager was in the wrong, he fucked up his own chance by opening his mouth and doing what he did. Because literally, Anthony couldn't play, and we had nobody to play on that right hand side, and he was literally the next guy up. And because of what he did, he never got that opportunity. So, you know, football is like that. But I mean, yeah. We're gonna call it for today. We've been here for quite a while today, so we'll get out of here. We'll be live after the match. Red Devil recap on Sunday versus Liverpool. We will be recapping the match, of course, as we always do, and then we'll see after that. I'll let you guys know when we go live. After that, probably be shooting for I mean, I don't think there's Champions League, yeah, so I'd probably be shooting for a Sunday. I can't see. I mean, Sunday. I'd be shooting for a Tuesday. All right, I don't care about this. I don't know what's happening. When is the next time they play Champions League? The 21st. So that's what, this week? Coming up? Yeah. So 21, 22. I don't know. We'll figure it out. I'll figure it out on the next stream. After we do the Liverpool match. Xerxes West Ham. I live in West Ham. They're on the floor with a bellyache. No, they are in a really bad spot. Yeah. So I don't know if I'd be able to help him, but yeah. But other than that, I'm getting out of here. I'll catch you guys all on Sunday after the match. Good luck. Leave score predictions underneath the video after I end it. Leave your score predictions. We'll jump back to them. If you do leave the score predictions, we'll jump back to them on the Red Devil recap when we go to recap and do the match reaction to the derby on Sunday. Hopefully we win. I think if we show up and we actually do, what is expected of us in terms of, showing up and putting in a 90-minute performance and fighting and leaving everything on the pitch, I think we could get a 2-1 win. If we don't do that, then we'll lose, quite clearly and obviously. So, thank you guys. Shout out to all of you. Shout out to everybody that smashed the like button. Greatly appreciate it. If you didn't hit the like button, make sure you hit the like button on the way out. And yeah. We'll see you later, DJ. Thank you. Appreciate you, brother. You enjoy yourself and your time as well. I'll see you guys later.